at risk of W, despite them being 1 at 7. And they'll come later, though. Oh, the acoustics. This arena that NIP have, ever since they did the renovations to it, the acoustics are wonderful in Shenzhen. They really helped get the most out of the crowd then, which is very, very cool. It's awesome when they first started playing that. The crowds were very, very loud. Things went very, very quiet after the gyros, though. Oh, it's way too quiet. I don't know why, it just feels very strange, just it being so quiet like this. Just you and me, chat. And if I only could, make a deal with God. Get him to change our places. I can't remember the lyrics after that. Sassy on the right, another Rise. Oh no, don't get me confusing Rise and Jax now. I already get Rise's abilities messed up. I don't know why, given that he's one of the oldest champions in the league. Sassy very confident that Jax. Focusing here on the 2v2. YCX behind them. Does he start the Shattering Strike or the Crash Down? Normally does that Crash Down. Gets a couple of autos through. Force the flash out. The heal from Nymaera. Used in response. Good front step from Savior, the artist formerly known as Xiaoya. Used that barrier, did Savior as well. Oh, flashback for that flip over the shoulder. Leave no flash now. Is there enough damage for a kill, though? Barrier comes through. One last auto would do it, but I think that Savior might have overextended too. Flashes early to make sure there's no follow-up Q or auto. Pots keep ticking. Kill goes to YCX, and Leave goes down for first blood of the game. Violent 2v2. Lucian Rel. Pretty scary, of course, when you get that flip over the shoulder from the Rel. Of course, reminder that it is, of course, hard CC. Gives you a bit more damage from the Lucian passive. Lucian's early damage, especially, is really predicated on does he get heals and shields or hard CC onto targets around him. Of course, that's one of the reasons he goes for the barrier. Ooh, walk over the wall. Climber contesting hard here now. Typically, the Vi at level 3, very good in the jungle, but Conqueror proc very early there from Climber. I think he did end up getting the big Raptor there, you know. I think I saw the gold crop up on top of him. Was on the blue buff, and they decided, you know, I can hop over the wall, potentially smite things away, and he did get it with the smite. So slight advantage for Climber up there. NIP getting a little bit sucker punched here early. The early 2v2 not going well. Nio, who was fantastic yesterday, completely diffed Junhao. Put under pressure here by Climber. Someone who struggle. Oh, hang on a second. No smite for Climber. He used it on the enemy wall, so he's not able to protect his own blue buff. Bounce back from bot lane's now come in, so leaving Nymaera, despite the fact that they were pushed in early after that early TV2, managed to get the bounce back and helped Nio walk in with a little bit more assuredness towards that bot side jungle. Nio walking in towards bot side again. I don't think they realized they're on a ward then. Gromp's gonna get taken. What's Climber's response? Gonna go down and potentially contest. He has smite back up, as does Nio. Would be an actual smite fight this time. Bot lane can actually answer now though. Nio's got way too deep. Flashes out, will not be able to secure the Gromp. Climber now almost a full level over Nio in the early stages of the game. Nio did take that blue buff away, but he can't secure that Gromp. He's lost the bot side scuttle. Climber took that, so we won't be able to get a double scuttle in return or anything. He'll have to go towards top side to even up the scuttles. He's going back towards his Krugs now. This is such a jobless Vi. What does Vi do? This is like Vi after that, I don't know, depression breakup in Season 2. Yeah, go fight in the pits, I guess. That's what you got left for you. Climber gonna get the double scuttle. Secured that Gromp on his own side. Gonna be very, very happy with the XP. And LGD, we were saying just before this, you know, this is a team which are kind of nipping at the heels of NIP. And NIP are a team which I think have been the second best team within Nirvana. I don't think it's been as clear as EDG being by far the best team within Group Nirvana. I think they dropped their first game in the whole damn group stage. I say group stage. Regular split, I suppose. just the other day to TT. They're the other team, which is really in this pack of teams kind of chasing, I suppose. We've got teams like LNG and Ultra Prime, which are struggling right now down in Group Nirvana. Not that they can't take games here and there. But NIP, LGD, TT. Those are the three teams which are the chasing pack to EDG just above them. Hey, Sailor Puppy, good to see you. Melos, maybe you're onto something. Maybe you're onto something there in chat. Oh boy. Dragon started. Climber. A little bit behind in XP from Nio now. Nio's not managed to get himself a full clear. Climber using his time investment to get this dragon done. The most valuable resource the jungle has is time. That time is being used to start dragon. Now what that does mean is that Nio's had the ability to bounce back in terms of farm and more importantly XP. Level 6 hit by solo kill. Savior's in danger. Has barrier. Does not have flash. And that is a very dead Lucian solo kill. Wow. It's written on the scoreboard, isn't it? 1-0 solo kill in the bot lane. Teleport up towards the top side of the map from YCX on the support rel. Lots of damage put onto Sassy anyway, but solo kill getting that gold is terrifying. 10 CS up currently on the Jax through the whole swapping lane situation. Sassy was denied a little bit of farm under this top turret. You know, the early jungle invade stuff made me think, well, you know, Climber's in a great spot. And when he gets through his full clear here, he will be retaining that farm and jungle advantage which he had beforehand. It's just that he had to invest a lot of time into taking that dragon. It's one of the problems of taking early objectives as a AD skirmishing jungler as opposed to a Zyra, Lilia, Brand, you know, these very quick AP farming junglers. Nidalee, of course, that too. When you go for a dragon or for grubs, you do allow a half to a full clear from the enemy jungler as well, which is often evening up advantages which you did have, or of course in some cases putting you further behind. Nio, yeah, now on his camp respawns, will be in a slightly better spot than he was beforehand. Getting to the point where level 6s from solo lane has become very important. Of course, we saw one used in the solo kill on bot side from the player. Flash forward, Leaf does have both summoners. We'll use this flash in response. Some damage put onto him, not enough to force him out of lane and stop him from farming. Grubs are spawning soon. Now you do have a flash cyclone and a realm warp to help force a play there potentially. Onto him if he does walk up to contest the old Gruberinos, the Gruberinos. Or to give himself some Void Mites. LPT down the towers. Oh, that was bad. Okay, it was going well until that. Ugh. Keeps me entertained, it does. Level 6 hit from Savior. A little sooner than leave. Does he want to walk down to the player? Presume he does. XTW being held in the choke point right now. Nice here with level 6. Climber tanking the grubs. Potential smite fight for the first one. Ults in and a massive CC chain. So Climber can't play. Climber can't play the game. Gets completely zeroed out by the Vi Galio with the Nico helping complete the CC chain. Climber taken down. And suddenly that's going to be 2 grubs over to NIP. When I thought they were in a winning position, solo kill doesn't even need to move over to that side of the map. He gets some free time to use those grubs now on the tower. Big mistake from Climber. Was ahead of the game. A death like that in an important point in the game turns things around. Now, potentially Nio, he's trying to pick up the farm, which he was losing earlier, of course. Might have to queue over the wall. Will get himself the big raptor, flashing for a rune prison. YCX can get the flip over. Not bad taunt coming through from Doomby. I don't think it's going to be enough to save him, though. Maybe one more Q. No, not enough. Savior will be able to dash forward soon enough. And it'll be a dead Nio. It's been a back and forth early game, Sam. Initially, the jungle pathing was going really well in the favor of Climber. He managed to get a camp steal away, protect his own camps fairly well. But then slowly but surely, things have been going in the favor of NIP. It feels like LGD gave over a very easy fight around the Herald. In fact, we might see a replay of that to catch you up on that one too. Nio just got Vi Galio with an eco involved to perma-CC the Wukong, who I thought was becoming a bit of the main character of the early game. Also, solo killed off Savior in a 1v1 on the bot side of the map, so, you know, living up to his namesake as he tends to. The Gwen with 1,000 gold lead is kind of terrifying, and IP with 2 grubs on the Gwen, who already has a gold lead.
Kind of terrifying.
Kind of terrifying.
And again, you're also looking at a Gwen who's run for the Ignite as well. Make sure that 1v1 is a bit easier early on, because it can get a bit dicey versus the Jax. been tech for things like Camille when we used to see that into Jax more regularly. It does feel Gwen's kind of taken that role as prime carry top, though, in the grand scheme of things. She is 1v1 queen right now in the game of League of Legends pro level.
She is very strong. I think maybe a little too strong. Reminder that she's been meta pretty much the whole year. Maybe after First Stand things changed, was it? Well, we came back. Yeah, it was coming back from First Stand. So most of the year, she has been on the ban list, actually. Whenever she gets through the draft, you think, that champion is going to ruin someone's day. Whereas before, I think that the Jax was enough to beat her in a 1v1. I don't think that's consistently the case anymore. I think that Jax has been struggling against the Gwen in a strategic sense. Might be able to keep her down at different points, but I feel like the Gwen actually plays through her win conditions better than many top laners right now, and it's why she's been a hallmark of the meta. Also doesn't hurt the fact that she is one of the few magic damage top laners. It allows you to play slightly different compositions where you can play towards heavier AD on the rest of the map.
For sure. Especially when getting magic damage in this day and age is never a done deal. No, they're going to go cease and desisting on top of poor old XQW is just XDD.
A little frog in the mid lane goes down. For those of you that don't know, XQW means, yeah, that fight starts and ends with a splat. Rest thee well, Rice. Rest thee well. We'll eventually go towards a more defensive item combo. It has the Catalyst and likely going to... And, of course, the Seraph's coming in later, but not enough to survive a play like that right now. And this is now a game where Solo Kill takes over. 2 grubs, first tower to the Gwen, 2 kills. This is going to be over 2,000 gold advantage for Solo Kill. The Gwen is now main character number 1.
You know what else she gets? Feats of strength. So now she's got steel caps upgraded into Jax and that dearest Wukong.
And if you really want to know more than that, Google Gwen feats. You will be able to find out exactly why Gwen with the feats of strength is so powerful as a champion. Very strong. Very popular in certain areas of the internet, of course, too.
Gwen mains. That's why
Gwen mains,
on the Gwen mains subreddit. Yeah.
I will say, Rise mains. They unsettle me, Sam.
They worried me, yeah.
All their posts are EQ, EQ, EQ.
They hired who's the voiceover guy?
I don't know, but there is that one voiceover guy which they did hire to, they just say, EQ many times on cooldown. E-Cube, yeah. Well, an advancement in the Rise meta, E-Cube. Oh, incredible. Harold, yeah. Right, dragons not spawning. That was taken a little earlier. The LGD do have the 2 dragons, but I just don't know if they can capitalize on it now. I'm really worried for them. There's even a chance of a flash torn hit, but there's no follow-up. Savior dashing over that wall should be safe.
It's not going to be in the lane, which is annoying. So just like no lane pry out. YCX and Climber trying to clear out vision where they can, but Nio and Niket saying, yeah, you're not going to have an easy time with that.
SQW getting some support on the bot side of the map, because if Gwen is pushing in now, you run. Having the recurve bow, really important for the Gwen, actually. You don't need that much attack speed to make sure that every time you cast your Q, when it's off cooldown, it's full stacks. Having a recurve bow is pretty much enough for that once you get to a couple of levels and you get some base attack speed from just champion levels as well. As, not doing a bad job there. That's actually a big ult towards bot side.
Crash down, Magnet Storm available. The Solo Kill trying to get a load of needles off. Does do it!
Whoa!
Right, the Ignite! The Triumph keeps Climber alive.
Solo Kill so close to that kill on the bot side now, and all towards the top side. There is a flash. This is a...
Oh, nice knockback. That means that Sass's got no way out. Justice Punch. Well played by NIP. 1 for 1 for top laners.
Yeah, I was surprised that was a full kill. The short range ultimate from Durmi coming up tops there as both top laners go down on opposite sides of the map. Does keep the individual cold lead still in favor of Solo Kill. He very, very nearly took down Climber. Bought an extra summoner out in that play by removing that Wukong flash. That could be important later. The flash cyclone, an important part of LGD's team fight.
Herald in 30 seconds. It's worth noting that basically LGD burned every ultimate available to them to make these plays. Everyone is down their ults and likely will do for at least the very start of that Herald play. On the other side, we'll get this replay now. Solo Kill gets run out. It's not expecting the Realm Warp in.
Does get level 11 as it comes through. Starts to proc that needle whip. But Jesus, the CC chain is so obnoxious. The fact that CC chain is the way that it is, and there's a double cyclone and everything, and it still forces a flash, 3 ults, and a very, very near death is kind of insane. Solo kill is, again, main character in this game right now.
Feeling Solo kill may have missed about 2 of those snips when he tried to dash to get it onto the Wukong. Genuinely an extra 1 there probably gets the 1-for-1.
It's a little bit hard to, yeah, a little bit hard to hit down a target who has that Triforce movement speed, of course.
Sure.
Gets a little bit culling pulled out again.
Get some value there. Hang on, B into the backside. Gets the stunt onto XQW. Getting a massive knock-up after with the Pop Blossom. Lee trying to trade out with Savior. Herald taken by Wukong, but the play afterwards looking pretty dicey. They can't get to the eye of the Herald. YCX likely dead, trying to keep the rest of his team alive. There's another taunt that wants a climber, and they get that kill as well. Herald will be denied in terms of the eye pickup, even if LGD do secure the kill.
Yeah, bit of a problem that solo kill teleports away from bot side. That will now be a full turret taken by Sassy in the bot side, but solo kill did get kill in that fight, so he's still up 300 gold from that. Actually, in terms of the overall gold, it's going to remain remarkably similar between the two top laners because solo kill did end up getting some value there. LGD, if they'd walked away with the Herald, I suppose they take that play because it would allow them to potentially open up something like the mid lane turret, which they're going to really struggle to deal with right now. It's very hard to take mid lane turret against the threat of the Vi Galio kind of slapping you when you go for that play, and SQW just goes way too far forward. He has flash, chooses not to use it. Doomby gets a good play there. Really well played from Naya, by the way. He could have got CC comboed out by YCX's big Magnet Storm. He ends up flashing out of it preemptively. I think that ends up working quite well from that. Ends up having a ton of HP to fight around, and LGD just say, yeah, nah. Big engage, big fight. The big engage didn't catch the targets we want to. We leave it, take the L, and move away.
Forced to back off on that one. NIP. Now just observing. Solo kill. Gonna be here as well, snipping away that crab. Snip, snip.
Do you think Gwen and Scuttle Crab do have that in common? You know, every so often there's like...
Yeah, scissors v pincers.
Like, you know, I feel like no one understands me, but you, dear Rift Scuttler.
Dear crustacean, yeah. What's count me in.
No, I find that sassy. Yeah, that's
the sole point.
This is, I mean, the late contest from NIP goes down very easily. LGD gets third dragon.
They're going to try and turn this around now into the backline. There goes that Pop Blossom. They kept trying to get damage, but he's now dead. That's 2 kills already with LGD. This is looking a bit messy, but Leave and Solo Kill still alive and doing DPS means I think this gets trickier in the grand scheme of things, but Solo Kill can't get the kills. He needs to back away. Flash on forward for Xavier, double dash, and he gets the double shot.
Somehow, NIP throw what was a really crushing lead in some parts of the map and give a third dragon to LGD. The gold evened up as well. A mid lane turret now under threat. LGD just got a godsend. They are on a win condition track now. Solo Kill goes down for a shutdown there too, which means that the Gwen, some of the gold that they gained has basically been given just back over. NIP, what the heck just happened? They didn't set up for that dragon nearly enough in time. We'll go to a replay of this again. So Nio's spot, this is what we didn't see. We saw that Nio was fighting Sassy, but I didn't know if it was Nio going into the pit or the other side. I should have paid attention to the minimap. And Nio, inadvertently leashes the dragon. No one else had come down. I mean, Solo Kill was not in position. Galio was not in position. It's a late setup from the solo laners of NIP. And Nio goes way too deep into the Wukong. He just cyclones away. I thought that Solo Kill might be able to turn things around, but he is not nearly tanky enough to deal with this right now. Look how much damage comes back from XQW and Savior after the W is down.
And Savior manages to relentless pursuit away from the snips as well, so they get hit by them, and now the gold lead is dead even. In fact, it's LGD favored. They've got gold in some really good spots, and they got soul point to work with as well. That was just very poor. I think NIP were not expecting the contest, and we're a bit lackadaisical around that dragon and get punished very heavily for it.
NIP now reeling from that play. I mean, they're against soul point. The gold is not in a fantastic spot for them either. They're behind a little bit, even given the early game advantages which they had, particularly for Solo Kill. Atakan spawning in 20 seconds. Perhaps NIP, we go into Khan. We see what happens around that objective. It is where games go to die, but there is that one thread the needle experience where potentially it solves a lot of your worries.
So now where do we look at the game state? We had kind of decided it was slightly over for in NIP's favour, but once again, mid-game woes for some of our LPL teams, and what looked like a great Nico pop off them again. The Nico just kind of dies doing it. Now you're a little bit caught out around that Dragon Pit. Credit over to Sassy for finding that play. YCX, though, does manage to get out of that one. Worried for a second on that face check, but needs too much. I do smell the intercon coming. You're not wrong. All the while, Xavier getting jumped on. Does just get to dash over the wall. Winds of War, taunt, flash on forwards. Xavier can't run far enough away. That's the Lucian dead. Niket with the root.
2 items in for that Corki, really helping right now. Another engage into River. I think YCX should still be safe with Flash, but he's going to lose a lot of HP. He might not even be safe.
Oh, Flash Pop Blossom on 2. That is a dead rel. TP's come flying, and they are surrounding that one. Taunt available. Counter-Strike is on. It's going to be enough to get Sassy out to safety for a second or two. SQW trying to realm warp out some of the members to safety, but that's going to be the mid lane turret nonetheless. And LGD get out with more deaths, but the turret down, a lot of ults and flashes. And
now it's LGD's turn to throw what was a really good game state over towards NIP. Now, they're still in position to potentially fight around the dragon, but I wonder whether Atakan is going to be forfeit, I suppose, with the respawn of Xavier coming back up and YCX being able to respawn as well. That won't be the case. Mid lane turret being down gives NIP some extra setup options for that all-important coming ultimate coming through after that point. Back into the replay. Overpushing mid lane. Xavier gets Vi-Galio'd. And Doombeat, yeah, manages to get the CC. Lands things in with Nio. I think Nio on the Vi, on the whole, still had a pretty good game, all things said and done. Managed to catch out some key members at some key points. Not been, of course, the most perfect or clean experience, but then I think the whole of NIP can say that, sadly. It is Group Nirvana. Peak Nirvana gaming on your screens.
With the lights out, it's less dangerous, but with them all on, look at mid lane, you can see all of the violence that's occurring, and it is in fact pretty lethal stuff until Sassy gets to hop out to safety. 20 seconds till Dragon. We might be looking at some more lights on violence.
Yeah, and it might not smell like Team Spirit, but it does smell like Team Fight.
Yeah, it does.
Just a little bit. 10 seconds till the ocean comes. There's a very fun story about why that song was called Team Spirit. It's because Team Spirit was a fragrance back in the 90s.
Oh, wow.
There is actually a reason for that.
So it's basically just named after Lynx.
Ish.
I suppose axe to the non-British viewers.
Yeah, sleeve on the 2 items in the Corki. Strong point of power right now. Can LGD find the engage?
They'll try and look for it. Climber gets the Cyclone down, but not particularly efficiently. And now the culling coming on down, but it's into the Hallowed Mist. Doombeat on a flank angle. LGD, I think, have blown their combo a little here.
I think they have, and Lever's getting some good poke down with these rockets. Doombeat on the other side as well. A couple of Winds of War doing some work, and now the Dragon being leashed. LGD, they might just have to go for a freak steal.
Sassy on a flank angle on this Jax could maybe turn this around. 4k HP. This would be Soul. Can Climber find their way in? It's going to look very tricky. XQW in danger. Pop Blossom across the backline. They've managed to kill off
Sassy.
Double counter strike. Leave in danger. They will trade that out well, though. Sassy hopping for more. Niket trying to run, and he slipped down. Is Sassy, who will not be looking so snarky anymore. Xavier, unfortunately, could use his namesake as he's being run at by 3 members of Ninjas in Pajamas who would like to assassinate that final member.
Xavier goes down, blowing the flash, and LGD might have just blown their shot in this game. Both of these teams have found themselves in points of advantage and unable to capitalize. LGD with a soul point would have really loved to get themselves that early late game objective. Sounds a bit weird saying early late game objective, but it would have been on a really good timer, wouldn't it? Atakan will go over to NIP as well. The Dragon means less to them, but denying the soul, getting a ton of kills, and the Atakan, that is very much a good feather to have in their cap. And they'll be able to get the Atakan on good timing, reset, get back out onto the map, potentially set up for Baron plays later now as that's spawning in the next minute. We'll go back into the replay of this as Sassy gets an okay angle. It's just a little bit late, I feel, as the engage comes through from Nymaera, who gets a great combo onto multiple members. Climber tried to Warrior Tricks to backwards, couldn't really get the most of it though in the Wukong. Once again, struggling to get a clean fight. Does at least manage to take down Leave at the end of it, but it has been a difficult game for Climber after what was a pretty good start to the game.
Sassy really was trying that. You're right, it is Nymaera. Still got to remember that one.
Yeah.
Many years of calling him Nymaera. My Britishisms failing that pronunciation on that one specifically.
Well, yeah, we'll do our best, folks. We do try and fix that when we can. As yeah, Worth saying as well. Worth saying. Hello to all the regulars in chat. And Blue, Missouri, Harold as well. TFG, good to see you all around that. If you're enjoying yourselves on today, and you're not one of our regulars, perhaps you can consider being one of our regulars. We always have an extra open seat at the metaphorical table of LPL. Bring you games like this. It bloody well is. The LPL has too many games for there to not be. A
smorgasbord of games.
Yeah. Oh man, you know, we went to an outdoor cinema the other day, and dude, wouldn't it be really fun to like bring League of Legends back to outdoor events again? Do you remember the OGN finals back
when
in
they
like
did it in rain?
Was it season 4 summer? Was it? With the Samsung Blue KT Bullets or whatever, KT Arrows it was in season 4 summer. That was the same. It was on a beach, folks. It was pouring with rain. It was still iconic as heck. Baron has now spawned. We did call that being a potential aggressive angle for NIP to set up for a little later.
We do have a beach in esports now. It's just in the LEC, but like you go sitting there, you have there's a little hot tub and everything. I talked about another league and it's frozen the game for the LPL.
Yeah, you've mentioned the LEC and the clean feeders. The clean feeder's not happy with you, Sam. It's not happy at all. It should come back.
Wait for the audio, guys.
We wait for the audio.
Yeah,
and also Sarcasm, thank you so much for the gifted sub over towards us.
Appreciate it.
We do appreciate that an awful lot. Season 3 summer was... Oh, Season 3 summer. That was what... I thought that was...
No,
I thought it was Season... Was it Season... I thought it was Season 4. Okay, I remember it was Season 3 or 4. I would have thought. Remember that. All coming through on screen.
Oh, there's the Pot Blossom into the Tangle Barbs. The Climber's clone will die, not everything else. The Taunt sidestepped. Actually, this is looking at a pretty good angle for Sassy to get in the backside, but leave will Valkyrie away. Good damage. Climber can't quite get the kill. Massive healing from Nio. Managed to get a huge Sundered Sky proc. Solo kill over the wall. Gives an acupuncture session to XQW. And LGD lose 3.
LGD just don't have the steam left in the tank. NIP put them on blast, and they will take themselves the Baron after a few kills as well. NIP, I thought they had a much easier route to victory in this game. After they gave the early soul point over to LGD, though, I was thinking, perhaps there's an angle. I don't think there is anymore. NIP closed that one shut. 0 degrees. Baron goes down.
Very acute, this one. And all the while, unfortunately...
Did you say that on reflex? That's obtuse of you.
Wow. Yeah, okay.
At least it was the right. At least it was the right
angle. Yeah.
Don't maybe go back into Trig after this. That'll be... Oh, gosh.
That would be a sin. And we're cause streaming.
Well, tangent away from that. That was a replay. Screeners. Look, honestly, if this dive between top jungle had happened with a little bit more gold, a little bit less of an advantage, perhaps you take down Nio and you can run into something crazy without Jax. But this is one of the reasons we don't see as much Jax, I think. I think Jax is really struggling to make these solo dives work in the same way that he was in previous metas.
Yeah, not having the easiest time of it, and that's despite what has looked like 1 or 2 fantastic angles that haven't quite worked out. You can see the thought process. Got himself the arm guard now with Sassy. Maybe that's enough. XQW as well, so a little bit more safety, a little bit more ability to make some of these plays, and some of the health bars of NIP have come out of these fights a little lower than I think they would be liking. It helps stop that. Of course, the problem is on the other side. Galio also has the arm guard, and Gwen has the full damn Zonyas, as well as the, whatever the upgraded steel caps Part 2 Electric Boogaloo Noxian Advance ass-kicking boots are.
Mate, I've got no idea. Look, once upon a time, I remembered all of the Ornn item names, and then they removed all of those names.
It did kill my joy of doing that.
And I'm like, well, why would I trust you now for all of these interesting names? I'm still gonna call. I'm still gonna
message him on Twitter.
I'm still gonna call them Ninja Tabi. Thank you very much. Potential flank on to leave. Climber is there with flash. Here we go.
Climber gonna try and get in the backside, but really good flash. And now, unfortunately, XQW has realm warped into hell and is swiftly punished for doing so.
Yeah, he's found himself into one of the 9 circles to figure out which one later is safe. Yep, he's been put down there too. Infernal Damnation!
And speaking of diving into hell, feet first into the enemy base right now, and they will make sure they are very, very dead. Jax tries to get a counter-strike down, but again, that's just the wrong game, my friend. There is no shooting people in the head, just getting blown up by a load of needles.
Jumping feet first into hell, and they ain't no ODSCs. The Helldivers do not find themselves a victory here. NIP... Democracy! As they go towards the net.
YCX will die a horrible death as they step on forwards into 5 members of Ninjas in Pajamas, and what was, on the whole, a pretty convincing game, with the exception of the Soul Point fight.
Man, I need to make more...
I might fumble this. Could be an awful time. Karzul, your love and support for WE is known and noted, and I can't wait to watch that with you a little later on. Right now, we are in Shenzhen NIP with their Skybox, their team, on the verge of a 2-0 here.
敌军还有30秒到达战场，碾碎他。
The Valagon Diamu for the bench. Oh, hang on, Nio. Managed to sneak in here. Is he going to figure this one out? Good wrap around is going to put that ward. He's on a ward, so Nio's got to have an idea. So look, I think you're coming on over. You really don't want to mess with an Udyr at level 1. It's pretty damn miserable. I hate to say it. Might be a Raptors into Krug's angle. The Ambassador won't really be able to stop that early on. Shinzao going to get his own Raptors warded out. Feels like he's going to be able to get onto this red buff, so it doesn't lead to all that much. Got a little bit nervous there, I won't lie to you all. If you fumble this solo casting, it'll just become a core memory for chat. So Pirate, you're not wrong. How dare you? But you're not wrong. I would never fumble a baddie as bad as you, chat. Right, XQW eating some threaded volleys at the level 1. Good work there from WB. Actually doing a really good position there on the Tilly. You can use that little corner of the wall to give yourself a bit of extra move speed using the passive. Of course, when you're running phase rush as well, later on you can get some very nice combos there to ensure the Azir just can't dodge out of your rocks that are being launched at Mach 5. I want to question this Udyr pick, but it seems so weird. I feel there must be some high-level logic to Pistow to understand. So, couple things. One, and this is probably most important, Sassy Comfort. He is an Udyr player. He has always gone towards it when he's found the options. Back when it was more of an answer into the Rumble, he was one of the big pickers of it alongside... Oh, who was our major Udyr top player? Zucker played a bit of it, but it wasn't him. Anyone remember who the big Udyr top player was? Might have been Hoya, actually. Thank you, Sarkar. Appreciate you, dude. So that's part of it. I'm seeing a few questions, chat. I'll come back to them in a second. I've got too much excitement happening in the early game. So number 1 is it's a Sassy comfort pick. When he's had the opportunity, he's done it quite well. Number 2, it's a tank that guarantees shove early. And not to put too fine a point on it, the Azir's getting shoved in, bot side's getting shoved in, which, again, his Jhin doesn't quite have enough wave clear with just the Rakan behind him. So you've got 2 losing lanes into a Pantheon. The Udyr being able to shove to give your Shinzao something to work around, really, really valuable. But it's also a tank. So that basically means that solo kill will be forever forced in. You know, the wave clear on Udyr is very, very valuable. You do kind of fall off a cliff. Udyr just comes with a hit to the point where he's not actually that tanky, not actually that good at CCing, but just clears waves in the blink of an eye. Trick 2G. Yeah, not wrong, strategy. But what do XQW and YCX mean? I couldn't tell you what YCX means, but XQW means little frog, is what it means. Short for little frog. Shanji, obviously. Honestly, Castle, you're not wrong. Actually, yes. He was one of the Udyr top players, wasn't he? There is someone else, though. I mean, it might also be Sassy. I mean, Sassy, Shanji, and one other who I can't remember who the big Udyr player might have been Hoya. Alex will have a slightly better memory for that than I did, so I can only apologize. And thank you, Sal Current. It really is very lovely to have those words put out in chat. Alex.
Hello.
So obviously Saf's running the Udyr right now. Obviously has always been a bit of an Udyr specialist when he's been given the opportunity. And I was trying to remember who else were the really big Udyr players in LPL. I remember Shanji played a bit of it.
Cube.
It was Cube, wasn't it? I was thinking, is it Hoya? But it doesn't feel like it was Hoya.
Yeah, look, honestly, everyone...
Cube is the one, thank you.
Yeah, pretty much anyone who was a bit more of a tank player played a lot of this back in start of 2023, particularly when we saw it coming in as an answer towards something like that Rumble.
Exactly who I was thinking of, thank you.
However, Shanji was the most interesting one because he still played it after the fall off the champion.
Yes.
Of course, he played the NIP, actually. NIP were a team which were very familiar with this. Now, most of that team's gone now. Sweep forwards, XCW.
Gets the shields.
Gets the shields, so it doesn't look as bad as it was. Avoids that Q AoE. But the thing about Q... it's not Q. The Udyr. He was very, very good when we had lane swaps way more prevalent from the very start of the game because he was the one tank with very, very good level 1 wave clear. He could do stuff like this, right, where you'd be able to pick up extra bits of farm. He'd have very good push, and he could sometimes sneak bits of waves away and stop himself from getting dove. He was very good in the lane swap meta, which meant there were some very fun level 1 tech plays you can make, where you can kind of, you know...
Game between tier 2, 3, and 3s to try and get waves on there. I remember that kind of thing for sure.
Yeah, you could do some very interesting plays with that. With lane swaps from the start of the game not being that prevalent now,
Yeah.
and with also him not being a good scaling tank compared to many others in the game, I don't see the value in the Udyr. Perhaps Sassy is so good at it, it makes a huge difference. I know that some players were so good at it, it did make a difference in other reasons. I think it was Aja over in back then it was the PCS, was playing it for quite some time and getting good value out of it in that region, well after the crazy amounts of nerfs to it. But with this pick in this draft, which is already looking a bit incoherent, not the biggest fan. He will have to prove it to me, you know, that it's worthwhile picking.
IP now just around this river, but LGD there first, and Climb will likely pick up this Scuttle Crab as a result. Climb allowing the Scuttle Crab to go away from the enemy members. Good, but XQW has now been left alone. Just about flashes the combo there.
Wonder whether actually Doomby should have held on to the flick back. Could have twinned that into Pantheon stun. Summoner down from XQW, who's hanging out realistically on the right side of the lane, 'cause that's where his team was, but he just overstayed a little too long. Summoner down for free.
In fairness, it is arguably very, very hard to walk the line into Talia Pantheon. It's like, where is safe? Not very far.
When your flashes, hang on a second, flash forward, could be some big globals coming in.
Oh man, and the shuffle away means nothing. Grand Starfall. XQW can't shuffle, he's trying to clear the way. The Comet Spit misses.
It doesn't matter. He'll go down as the double globals come in from NIP. That was a dead Emperor walking his XQW. We were just saying, look, it's a fine line to walk. Well, when you don't have the flash, it's no longer a line. It's a thread at best, really.
It's a hole.
Yeah, and he's been put into it 6 foot deep. Nio and Doomby, double globals come through. NIP's composition, way more coherent than LGD's. Clearly, you look at these 5 champions, you can see them. Okay, they got a ton of globals, they make some big plays. I see you getting a potential solo kill angle here.
Oh, Ghost is still pop, gets to run away again. Udyr can just do that to some AD carries.
Yeah.
And in fairness, of all champions, I feel like Udyr might be one of the few that can just run at a Zeri if there's no wall between them.
Yeah, an early game. Later on, obviously, that gets a lot harder. There was a potential, you know, flash form change angle in there if there was a little bit more damage to come through. Grub's now started by Climber with the help of Sassy, so heavily out trading Leave. LGD getting themselves something there, now trading for the dragon on the bottom side.
Naya will just stab this dragon a few times. Stab it. Stab. Stab the grubs. Skewer the grubs. Barbecue them.
Barbecue grubs. Is that a new delicacy now?
Yeah, it is. Have you not tried barbecue grubs before?
No, that seems like the kind of thing which gives you an allergy, Sam.
Comes with a free side dish of void mites.
It's like, wow, I went on holiday to Summoner's Rift and all I got was a void allergy. Nightcap rather. Popping the ghost and forcing XQW to play respectfully there. We are at the point where Doomby and Naya's ultimate is going to be coming off a cooldown in the not too distant future. Of course, level 6 with not that much cooldown reduction, but LGD will need to pay a lot of attention to when those those ultimates are off cooldown.
So throw a little bit of... we went around for this one. It was a level 1. Really nice little stuff from Doomby using the far wall of the mid lane bushes to get his passive at level 1 to get really good threaded volley accuracy onto the Azir, which is very nice. So just using it, so like standing by the wall and using it to move around. Got really good early shove and early trades. YCX can't find that interest, but thought you might like to.
Yeah, quick message in chat actually from Thousand Kites, who is one of our resident Mandarin speakers. By the way, YCX, I believe, Kites believes, stands for Ying Tue Tue. And the first character of that should mean Sakura, but Tue could possibly be multiple characters, though I think the most likely one should be Snow. So it'd be Sakura Snow, I believe, which is very cool. Which is
very aesthetic.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. One of my favorite things about kind of kanji and kind of like symbol-based written languages is how how deeply poetic they can be with like 2 characters. It's insane how much value you can get out of that. I say value. You know what I mean. Yeah. How much meaning you can put into a single character.
You are so league pilled.
I'm so honestly right now I'm so horse pilled and Uma Musume maxing. That's a separate problem.
I had an issue because I was playing Genshin the other day and I started calling the teleport waypoints teleport wards, and I was like, oh no, oh boy. Actually, speaking of oh no, leave, we'll slide out. Okay, that's fine.
Zero Gaming hops over the wall.
wave clear time.
Yeah, Gen Alt for wave clear. That used to be much more of a thing, by the way.
Yeah.
Closer towards release, particularly when... Do you remember Duskblade Jim? Really broken build. He was really... Second message, good damage until he doubly lands there. Could be in a little bit of trouble. Luckily misses.
So, too much to see right now. Savior with a decent chunk, but hang on. Grab Starfall, flash on forward. Savior, no cleanse, and therefore dies to the combo.
You know, a little while ago when we were saying, gotta be really aware when those globals are off cooldown. LGD just weren't. They just weren't.
Yeah.
Nio goes in, uses the flash. Savior doesn't have a cleanse. He's going for the barrier. Cannot get out of that combo and leave even on the lower HP. Can turn that mid lane situation around.
SGW now looking for the shuffle. Does get it onto Do and Beat, but there'll be a shuffle away that is flashed on. Flash on in from YCX, and the Sakura Snow tries to get the backside, but Nigel is here and says, you get off my mid lane. And Nio now coming on up, doesn't have the flash, but does have that shield vault. YCX grant entrance to deny that easy access. Will then get shield vaulted himself. It does mean that XQW gets out alive.
Grand trade there is actually just in terms of ultimates and summoners. No one dies, and NIP get away with one a little bit there. There wasn't a bad play coming through from XQW, who we were talking about names and stuff like that before. I believe his name translates to Little Frog.
Ribbit.
Which is fun. Shame we never saw the Tom Kench mid-meta ever come about. Remember Season 5? Fake was gonna
wasn't
play
it Fake as
Tom
AP Tom Kench that he was trying to get to play?
Yeah,
so
and but Koma wouldn't allow him, and he said basically the only way he'd ever be able to play AP Tom Kench mid is if he physically locked it himself against his coach's orders effectively. Which, oh, that would have been so funny. That would have been one of the stories of all time. This was, remember, in the season where he played Olaf mid against poor
Master Yi
Bangkok
mid
Titans.
as well.
Master Yi mid, yeah, but that one was actually like, you can see, actually I say that, yeah, I was about to say, oh, you can see the logic. I mean, you can see the logic of the Olaf when you just blasted poor G4.
Riven mid into Cassiopeia, which should never have worked, by the way.
Sometimes. But, you know, if talking about that creativity, in the LPL, the player which was the most creative for his time, I think, was Doomby.
Oh, for sure.
Was the Dark Technologies. This was the guy that we were so excited to come back into Fearless. He's taken a bit more of a less creative role, actually, in the NIP lineup.
Yeah.
He's been focusing onto a smaller cachet of global champions. Nyket does have Ult and Flash. He should be okay here. Doesn't have to use either. But, yeah, Doomby, his globals have been the real PowerPoint for him.
I'm on Y6. We're just looking to see whether there was an invade available, but Nio and Doomby around, the double globals get scary. And for NIP in general, I think one of the characteristics we've been most impressed with is their use of the globals, their use of the roams towards islands. Some of the team fight setup been a bit sketchier, but the actual plays to make picks on side lanes, with Nio and Doomby involved in particular, has been really good.
Right now, though, you might need that global defensively. Now, there is Pantheon on the side of the map, and I think LGD are actually paying attention to that now. Instant wave clear comes through from the Talia. When you have both the mid-jungle global ultimates available, that's where things get really tricky. There was one of the older sayings in League is attack the source of the global. We used to do that all the way back when Shen was meta back in Season 3 and Twisted Fate and that kind of champion, right? What happens when there are two globals? One of them can answer the other one, and right now, it's actually a pretty good timing for LGD. This might be a moment where he's not there to cover it, but Nightcat's here instead.
Yeah, I feel like getting past the Alistair and the Unraveled Earth can be quite tricky, and that's like a significant amount of time now LGD has spent around XQW on this turret. Does look like we'll need a second dragon now going over towards NIP, looking to try and go on to Leave, who did just burn that Spark Surge. YCX using the Ghost of the Spellbook. Flash and forward from Nightcat, shuffle away onto the Alistair, but where does this Azir go? He's going back towards the enemy turret. He's trying to turn around and deliver best he can, but Doomby's got his shield. Nightcat can wait for a Pulverize. The minions are blocking out Doomby, but he will still be able to get the kill. Did make sure it was donated as the wave tried to keep LGD's mid lane alive.
That got within a single auto. Did not expect that in the trade, but Doomby will once again get the better of the matchup in that side lane. XQW try as he might, just cannot escape NIP's playmaking on top of him. Earlier we were seeing Nio and Doomby forcing his flash, and right here in the side lanes, he's getting the worst end of these trades. NIP now at 1,000 gold lead. They have themselves the kill portion of the feats of strength. They'll be fighting for the remaining two as the game goes on. And NIP are a team which I think when they do get these side lane advantages with this kind of composition, will use them well. You were just talking about before, and I think it's worth harping back on about that. One of the things which impressed us the most about NIP earlier in the year with Doomby coming into the roster was their use of globals. You have multiple globals to use now, and you have a position to do so. With Doomby getting that slight advantage over that mid lane matchup in terms of gold and in terms of the kills we've seen go his way so far, NIP should be in a comfortable spot.
should... Here. Throwing out those Krugs. YCX again around topside. We've just seen a lot of supports hovering towards this top side of the map. Herald's just spawned. Nymaera again, though, finding a really good Polvin to headbutt combo, forcing the flash off this Jhin.
And now you're playing a flashless immobile carry into Bad Tintalia. Well, now where's the Herald started, you have to imagine that will be looked to be punished by an IP. W lands onto him, teleport coming in from the Udyr, perhaps he can disrupt enough.
He's going to make sure the Storm Surge comes on for. He's trying to buy some time. He's actually taking a fair amount of damage. Got a flash to the heal from Nymaera, keeps him alive for now, but there's 3 members on top of Leaf, who is very dead. Where was the response? The TP's coming now?
Well, no, NIP wanted to secure the Herald. I think that's their response, saying, look, we're okay with one person dying if we can get the Herald and get out. They did manage to secure that with Nio, despite the fact that it was LGD starting the objective. I do completely agree in the fight. You can't let Leave out to dry like that, but if the goal was we get the Herald, we get out, trading 1 kill for it, I don't think they're unhappy with that.
XQW. Be a bit wary. There is the shield vault. Solo kill won't press his own, but that does mean without that Emperor's Divide, potential angle back in as Nymaera's coming up as well. Weaver's wall on top. Now they're using the globals to get involved. That'll be 2 kills to NIP.
LGD think they've got a bit of an easy one running down. Oh, we just killed the AD carry. They just used the Ambessa ult. They just used the Pantheon ult. There's always another global. There's just always another global with this comp. NIP get the pick off on top side, and this is 0-0-3 now. Half of it, I don't think is his fault. However,
right.
he's actually been playing out in some of those situations pretty well. However, they just, as a team, LGD, have not respected the full host of globals well enough. Right here, it's a good ult. Actually gets the double knockback and solo kill and Nio down some basic abilities. Quite important ones with the shield vault and the repudiate shield as well. Just way too far up. If you can get caught out after ulting 2 away, you probably step too far. The fact that Rakan also dies after blowing flash, that's insult to injury.
Yeah. I think he tried to flash battle dance towards Climber and unfortunately was not able to get that off. I see the vision. I did not see the results, unfortunately.
No. Well, we did actually see the results. It was a failure. It was just a bad result, Sam.
Okay, that's.
It's like I didn't.
Okay,
like,
that's technically correct.
That's like getting a report card. I'm like, well, I didn't see the grade there. You might have done. It's just not exactly a happy report card.
I think it might be a dead Alistair here. 4th shot's about to come on through.
Hang on a second.
He's still got all sort of to work with, and he's got honey fruits.
No, that's so illegal. How bad has it got to feel when you are the highly mobile, tricksy support that can get out of all kinds of danger as the Rakan, and you die in that topside play, and you see the Alistair who has legitimately no way to disengage most situations, just walk his way out of a play.
Just get Swifty. Swiftness boots OP.
Yep, he's turns out your music choice can save your life, folks. Yep. Swifties save lives. You heard it here first.
Well.
Is that all you've got for that, Sam? I thought that was very funny.
Yeah, no, I'm struggling here. Not gonna lie, just in general.
The problem is, I know next to nothing about Taylor Swift besides Love Story, Trouble, and Bad Blood. Those are the 3 which I remember.
Shake It Off is good.
Oh yeah, okay, maybe I do know a little bit more. That would have been a great one. That you could have followed up with that. Like, and Nymaera shakes off the engage with the Swifties. That would be great.
I think I've missed you talking about Taylor Swift. So I said that statement and then looked at the game and didn't listen to the pun properly, which is why I was struggling.
If you ever want to know about the flaws of casting every single day with someone who's also technically family and a roommate, what the hell is happening here? Teleport away from bot lane, solo kill forces the flash.
Flash forwards, got the lacerate, and the Drake out steps, and that's a dead XQW. That one is on XQW. No defending that one. Sassy now in danger as well. Got a Wingborn Storm to try and turn that one around. We'll throw down the Blazing Stampede in the backline. They go. They get on to leave. He's exhausted, but takes no damage. And the Pantheon wasn't exhausted. He's still got a lot of vigor to work with, and skewers a bird for his trouble.
Forgive me if I'm wrong there. I'm pretty sure I saw a teleport away from bot lane up towards the top side of the map. Solo kill still ends up getting himself the kill in the bot side of the map, and then the play on the top side goes wrong for LGD2. They're losing completely across the map. Last game was back and forth. This one is only going in one direction, and it is in the favor of the Ninjas in Pajamas in their, of course, their home arena, playing out here in Shenzhen.
You don't know you've teleported. Doesn't really fit.
Yeah, YCX, oh my god, he has... Whoa, did he accidentally press it? No, because he teleported to the right spot. What the heck happens here? He's teleporting away as this is happening. I think he thinks the play is over, but he goes too early, and XQW, I presume he thinks he has the support of Rakan. He's getting the hell out of there. It's a horror story. It's not a love story anymore, folks. It's a horror story, and you best start believing in them. You're in one.
Oh, wow.
There isn't much to say about that.
That really sucks.
YCX's last 5 minutes have been disaster. This goes beyond tragedy. This is like the Titus Andronicus of that. I mean, we're getting like 5.1 misplays per act. The joke there being that there's 5.1 atrocities per act in famous hit tragedy / revenge comedy.
Yeah, it's just a revenge tragedy underlying it a few times. But it's like, how do I put that? That's like, it's something like every 62 lines is an atrocity.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that does look like, sadly, bits of this gameplay from LGD in this game is what it boils down to. Things are just not working out in their favor. They're not respecting the globals. They're playing the side lanes very riskily, and they are getting punished for it. They've gotten a couple of picks. Well, no, they haven't. They've got one pick on to leave around that Herald fight. They even lost the objective for that and died afterwards. NIP, this has been smooth sailing.
Last game, there was a bit of a fumble when they gave up the soul point and gave 3k gold back. I just don't think that's happening this game.
So now, I mean, LGD, they might look for a Hail Mary Atakan fight. Atakan is, as I've been saying recently, where games go to die. However, there is that slim window where you think, perhaps we can get a huge fight through here. You do have... Suppose you're getting towards 2 items on his ear. Things can happen there. You have a 2-item Jhin. They are 1,000 gold plus down, and you'd have to be on tanking the Atakan, but perhaps LGD see an angle around that objective, because strange things happen around that objective.
You go to the upside down.
Oh yeah. That didn't the last season of that come out recently? Was that a thing, or is it coming out soon?
I've not watched it. I've been a bit behind.
Look, I watched the stage show actually, but beyond, yeah, and it was good. It was in London. However, outside of that, I have completely checked out of that franchise. There is only so much waiting I'm willing to do for a next season, and I'm done that. I've done my time, and I want out. Slipknot had some very good lyrics to that occasion, you know.
That was a tangent.
As it tends to be with us, Sam. Yeah, as it tends to be. Atakan not started yet. XQW playing a lot safer.
Maybe we can psycho-socialize around the Atakan.
Yeah, perhaps.
Get some tea out, some biscuits.
What's the chance that there are Slipknot chants and fans in chat that actually the references work out? It's the duality of man.
Exactly, yeah.
Well,
before I forget anything else, we do need to keep our eye on this top side play.
You snuffed that out right now. No, I don't know.
This play equals
I don't know.
decent.
I don't know. I mean, his ultimates have just been Corey tailor-made for this game.
Oh dear me.
Yeah.
That one leaves a stone sour taste in my mouth.
Why even bother? Pushing towards topside NIP, going in for the dive. That's one up coming through. YCX can get out, maybe.
Ooh, goes in with the quickness. There's the seismic shove backwards though, and it's again a dead bird. Got themselves a lock and chill, body blocking for the ultimate. Nyket gets out the back end of the curtain call, and unfortunately, LGD are the only member that takes a bow.
Yeah, YCX, their big engage is now down. Nyket can recall, get back out onto the map. I suppose YCX will have respawned by that time too. But NIP, credit to them for not overplaying on the top side. I think some teams in Group Nirvana would have found that opportunity and said, let's just go, Atakan, blah, blah, blah. Playing a little bit slowly, get that one kill. This is important, I think, in the series. LGD went to 3 games against NIP in their first round robin, and I think quite convincing to me were like around that 3rd to 4th place around Group Nirvana, contesting with NIP. Doesn't really feel like that's been the case in this second game. NIP have just wiped the floor with LGD. I think we're starting to see NIP get a little bit more comfort for themselves. I know that they had some poor games recently too, but they are still a strong team up here.
Especially when they're making proactive plays on their own terms, they can just do this kind of thing. Teleport comes in again, but they've just lost their top laner. A 5v4 around Atakan might be coming up.
Yeah, XQW's used his teleports, so he doesn't have that global available to him either now. So he doesn't have one. He's dead for 30 seconds. Savior is not in position. Perhaps Solo Kill could teleport up towards that Atakan, but NIP content not to do the Atakan. I don't see many teams which are of that mindset. Most people just jump at that objective when they see an opening for it.
Well, because they've lost.
Oh, hang on. There's a cow in the long grass.
Oh, he's done it again. How has he gotten behind this? They got the Grand Starfall as well. Nyket is playing like he's the one with the global.
XQW can make it out alive here, though. Low HP. I wonder if you can make it out alive.
Flash to nowhere, and now they've got the kill on the Azir, and Atakan is started, and Solo Kill is splitting bot. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. The catch-22 is well and truly on. Hang on, Nymaera potentially in danger here. Might get turned around on, and he is picked off. Curtain's now called. Teleport coming from Solo behind, and it might be the intercard angle. Grand Starfall not available because the quickness of the grand entrance is. But all the while, look at the Atacon damage coming on forward to Solo Can we get the backside public execution? YCX in data seismic jump. Solo knows to flash, gets that kill. Sassy's respawn, getting some damage into the backline to knock up with the 3 talent strike. And it is an intercard angle.
I take it back. It's intercard all day long. Leaves all off cooldown.
Ooh.
Maybe he can save the play, and yes, he will.
Oh, the lightning comes crashing on down, and somehow NIP make it work regardless. I think Nymaera was a little surprised at the chain of CC over that wall.
You can just see it feels like there's a metaphorical sigh. Guess I'll go clean up from leave. They're finally online as the Zeri, as NIP. They showcase exactly why I don't like teams just randomly YOLOing the Atacon. Fighting around this objective and all the damage and the shred that it does for that point in the game is so risky. NIP approached that from a strategic and a numbers advantage, and they still damn near threw the game. It comes up to, after XQW had just gone down, this is without the Azir. Yes, I know he's 0-5, but being a man down is still a man down. Nymaera goes down very easily despite his ult running. Nio had been tanking the Atacon, so he's low as well. Doomby the same. The only reason this works out is because LGD are so far behind the game that Leave can clean up.
Again, reminder of that sole point fight last time. They did that without certain members around. This time they did without Solo Kill or Leave. Nymaera was greedy clearing that ward. This could well have cost them the game if Leave didn't manage to find a phenomenal angle in here at the back end.
Yeah, his ult was coming off cooldown, and all of the cooldowns from LGD are just down. Climber, in fact, just tried to flash to clean up Doomby. Meant there was nothing left for Leave. Leave is now 3 items, level 16 on the Zeri. He is even in gold with Savior, but the scaling advantage is now well and truly through for this Zeri. There isn't much that can stop Zeri from just running rampant in the backline now.
Really, there's a single ward behind that is known quantity. Nio will pick that one up. So point as well for NIP. They've got themselves a lot more tenacity. And LGD, who are quite pick reliant really at this point in the game. It needs to be good picks at that. Having the enemy team with a load of tenacity to work with sounds really obnoxious.
What's the overall gold lead? 6,000. That's the number. 3 items in for the majority of NIP. 2k in the mid lane. God, this has not been a good game from XQW. Now, parts of it I think have been mechanically well played from him. Some of the shuffles back have been whatever. Strategically, it's not been. He's been in the wrong place at the wrong time, disrespecting globals. And this is another one of those games where you just feel a team has disrespected the Pantheon Taliyah. They gave it over. They picked that first pick Azir. Reminder, this is first pick Azir, which allowed Pantheon and Bessa on 2-3, which is 1-2, and then the Taliyah coming in on 3. You gave over that Pantheon Taliyah knowingly, and it has ran you through. I really think teams have to still keep respecting this. Nymaera jumping forwards. It's a full fight, perhaps.
Weaver's wall, but that's Doomby getting off early on XQW!
0-6, baby!
Oh, it's a very little frog this time around, and unfortunately he's into a lot of very hungry predators. Sassy gets seismically shoved once more time, and the Richter scale continues to mount up. A Solo Kill thumps on forwards. Dracan step, Grand Starfall. The stars have aligned, but unfortunately for LGD, it's in favor of NIP. At least Climber gets away, but he is climbing down into a very narrow hole to try and hide away as YCX puts down the quickness, and just feels like Baron's going down, nothing left that LGD can do.
XQW, also known as Little Frog, is an anti-amphibian this game. He's not allowed to live in water or on land. He's in fact just dying, dying on both. There is a teleport coming in towards the Baron. The objective will be down. Climber, I think he's overstayed too.
He has indeed. He's going to have the Crescent Guard put down. Actually, with the Curtain Call, Nymaera might end up being traded. Flash on him for the double. Pulverized. Headbutt back. Solo Kill is so dead. Oh, they're getting so many kills. I saw his name and got confused. Whoops. Never mind. NIP is still going to win the fight. Oops.
I don't know, man. Leave, I think that's more like a NIN before his name. 9-inch nails causing the hurt for LGD. And they don't have a grand deal to do with that. They wish they could do better.
Look, you've heard of Occam's razor. I introduced you to Trent Reznor, which is basically...
What does that mean?
Okay, go on. You keep going. I need to come up with a definition.
Oh, XQW, I mean... What's he doing, man? Normally there's some logic to it. I think his eyes are off his screen. He walks into the other side of the Taliyah wall, who hops off, immediately immobilizes him. 0-6 on the Azir. That is some Till City. This guy is just not locked in.
Yep, I've got the answer, by the way. If Occam's Razor is like the most straightforward answer, it's most likely true. Trent Reznor's, the Trent Reznor is a razor, depending on how you want to run this. Is which one's going to be the most absolute cinematic?
True.
That's the way it is. You know, it's just a cinematic because it can get solo kill.
Decent damage here from Savior, by the way. This Jhin is the only person doing damage on LGD. Potential flank from the Udyr now.
The flashes away, but it's into Sassy, who is waiting on himself the Wingborn Storm. I'm going to get traded out. There was the full auto from Lee, beginning to try it on out with the burst fire. Just managed to slide away, perfect execution.
Oh, the peel!
Stop YCX, they're keeping this Zeri alive! And Solico continues to slide on forward with the lacerates. Doing be free firing, so is Lee. Nio over the backside. Nightcat. Flash, headbutt, and Leave gets the triple.
Oh god, he doesn't even pick up an assist. XQW will end this game. 0, 7, and 0. One of the saddest Emperors I've ever seen.
I don't... that is the Emperor in the new clothes, namely naked and alone. As NIP head towards the Nexus, and LGD wonder what the hell happened this game.
Well, not a great deal in their favor, Sam. 2-0 to NIP in their home arena. LGD will lose the head-to-head versus NIP now 0-2 in series, only taking a single game.
Some good yelling there. We are in Xi'an, of course, WE's home arena. Big spike early from Weibo Gaming there. Statistically, anyway. I can see that when you've got the Ambessa and the Varus and all of those things in mid-game, when you can start snowballing with all of that pick. Can get later. I'll sort of see where the global threat can get a bit more difficult for the Ori and Varus to survive. I think the thing is, Cars, a lot of those players are just well, speaking of like Orianna in general, is I think a lot of these players just got absolutely years of top level experience on that champion, and very successfully so as well. So can be pretty good there to get a decent amount of value. Side though. Just a bit of trading, trying to fight for level 2. Vampire doing the Vampire thing on the Alice. We love to do this. So start headbutt, keep punting people away from the wave, try and slow down the level 2 a little bit. Should theoretically still be the Varus. Didn't see where the Varus started Q or E. Piercing arrow now at the very least. Breathe with the Repudiate level 2 to try and manage some of that. Repudiate? Repudiation. Can't remember the exact conjugation. Either way. Monkey also going to find his way behind here. Can maybe look for a wraparound gank onto Xiaohu, who I think is just in a very tricky scenario. Going to be forced to flash away. Aegis Assault not quite enough. Garrus, threaded volley gets the kill. Nicely done. Now Monkey can continue on his journey towards getting into the jungle. Well played by WE. Slow down the clear slightly, of course, because Wukong going to be well and truly finished up with a lot of his camps. Can maybe look to invade here, actually, as well. Both the mid laners TPing back in. It'll be a much better back, though, of course, for Karras. He's got the extra boots. Monkey, you can't walk in here. There we go. Karras coming on over. Expected a little bit. They're going to try and turn this around onto Tien, who will throw down that warrior trick. Still will likely need to leave. Monkey also quite low, though. Tien, I think, could stick around on this. And Monkey, I think, wisely going to head over towards those Krugs. Actually leaves Karras at threat of being dived. Tien can wrap around here. Monkey's got to be very wary. Smites that one down. Can Comet Spear at least some of this. Tien with the red buff. Fair amount of damage. Monkey's going to have to give up some of that camp. May have to give up this red buff as well. Tien sticks around, gets a hold of this one. Still got a Gromp to go as well, should he so wish. I think Monkey will reset, take his ill-gotten gains, and go towards that bot side Scuttle Crab. Couple good wards there in WE's jungle now as well. Vampire now. Just getting knocked up briefly by Crisp with the grand entrance. Not going to delete all that much. An angry bee comes down. Brr. Like buzzing, but angry. First game, right? 4 minutes in. Yes, that's correct. I'm Hot Wheels. We are first game of WE vs Weibo game. Harris eats a bit of damage. Xiaohu's still trading quite well here. Of course, did end up dying early on for first blood. It's a slight goldly though, nonetheless, to Weibo Gaming. Mostly off his laning phase. Xiaohu needs to be a bit careful here. Seismic shove. That would have been on point for Xiaohu if he'd stayed backing, but instead resets. Gonna get the wave shoved here. Is Monkey for Karis. Now can get the reset off themselves. Xiaohu's gonna have to stick around. Karis will look to reset and come back to late. Nearly at level 6, doesn't quite have it, but we'll have it on the next wave for sure. Question, is the game on Android too? So Wild Rift, the mobile version of the game, is. League of Legends, the version you're watching right now, is not. There is basically a mobile version that is called Wild Rift, that is. Yeah, and WE indeed 1-7, struggling a lot. Been able to get game wins again against a lot of teams, but never the full series. Did it twice against BLG, couldn't finish out the series both times. Happened a lot last summer, but they started to turn it around a lot earlier than this. They have just looked quite poor when they have been bad. Gonna try and look for the engage though. Vampire with the heal into flash pulverize. Vampire. That's a fair amount of damage. TM will Warrior Trickster away. Monkey getting turned around on though. Did not get that Aegis Assault up in time. Hail of Arrows just shy. Taeyun though, with a lot of HP bar to work with. It's probably in a better spot than the majority of Weibo game. We've at least got a couple pots to work with, but would be still a net positive trade for WE. Too much here to be seen. As we've got Grubs in under a minute. Dragon's still up. No one's really been willing to start a fight on those objectives. Summoners down. Vampire burning the heal and the flash to try and make that play happen. As we said, kind of got a fair amount of HP down, but not too much more than that.
Gold still very even across the board. No crazy XP leads anywhere, really. No, Karis getting that kill against Xiaohu does help a little bit. The Orianna can be quite oppressive against that, and this continues it.
Shockwave comes on down, but unfortunately the stun is still there, and Xiao saw the Alistair coming, tried to play safe, but Grand Starfall is a hell of a drug.
It is. He even hits the center of the Grand Starfall for the extra Q damage on top of it.
Ridiculous.
Monkey. Yeah, getting the best out of Xiaohu, who didn't have that flash up for another couple of seconds. Bad mistake from the mid lane of Weibo. You beat them in a 5v5. You don't beat them when you split across the map. You must be so aware of where this Pantheon layer is on the map and pay respects to it. Xiaohu just not safe enough there.
Worth noting as well, Xiao died to an early gank. We've got grubs happening.
Teleport back in from Xiaohu. Potentially this could be the fight.
Try and get that second grub and we'll do so. The WE one more. Tien goes forwards, tries to get some value with the Cyclone, but the headbutt away from Vampire. Binds away, Chris goes in. Vampire might well be traded here and will be. So it'll be 2 grubs plus the kill towards Weibo Gaming. Sorry, towards WE going the other way. That's a horrible phrasing.
Yeah.
The point being 2 grubs to WE and trade for a kill.
Yeah, WE end up getting that kill onto Xiaohu beforehand. Technically a 1-for-1 if you want to count that mid lane play beforehand. I actually wonder whether Xiaohu should have saved his shockwave
in mid lane to keep it available for that grub fight. He'd already made that mistake. Imagine having that shockwave into the clump there. Could have been such a game changer. They get away with the 1 kill. They will get the 1 grub as well. Gold is, again, basically the needle hasn't moved there. WE, the early game's not been bad for them. They've had some decent plays. They need to find a way to actually break up in this game, though, because they're getting to the point where they need to start pulling their global ults on cooldown, try to get this Yorick ahead if possible, too, as a split pushing Menace in a side lane. If this game becomes slower, and it doesn't become about their ultimates, my worry is you're going to have Orianna Varus sat on an objective, outranging you, outpoking you, and you don't have great answers towards that. WE need to make sure their mid-game's on point, and that's not somewhere they've necessarily been at their best recently.
I think that's probably fair. Gold remains pretty much even here. WE slightly leading the kills. Again, largely off good plays around mid lane. Sort of a free camp into gank mid. Got Xiaohu down first time around. And then attempted punish from Tien into the jungle. Got a red buff away as a result. Because obviously he didn't stop his clear. So got to go mess with Monkey a bit. But really all it's led to is a couple camps extra towards this Wukong. Who hasn't been able to turn around the kill involvement.
Dragon's being started here by WE. There is slight worry, actually, of the Grand Starfall and the Talir ult going in towards that bot side, actually. Pantheon is on the Dragon. Talir's heading down. I think Weber needs to be aware of this. They don't have enough information as to where Monkey and Karis are in regards to each other. They know they've taken Dragon now. They will back off. See, you look on the minimap. Varus backing all the way off to the turret because they're afraid of potentially a double ult coming in. That's important. Need to see more of that kind of respect because, again, this is the point in the game where they are vulnerable to that. Into mid lane now, actually, again. Xiaohu has flash, and so we see bot lane paying respect. Xiaohu, he's actually messed up his ward on the top side of the river. There's a chance of Pantheon not coming in here. They're channeling it. Let's go.
Good call on that one. Xiaohu now potentially in danger, but man dissonance this time enough to keep Xiaohu safe.
Okay, that's important. Flick forward onto Tien.
Boy. Let's see if fair management headbutted away before he can warrior trickstable cyclone. And the
no.
shockwave just wide. Now we're getting the shield bot forward into Xiaohu. And Crisp has roamed up the lane to at least keep Xiaohu alive, but that is not pretty.
Yeah, they'd done steps 1 and 2 well. They'd protected themselves in bot lane. Xiaohu had avoided the Grand Starfall in mid lane, and then Tien goes into a brush, which he has no right being in. Doesn't have first item. The coordination between him and Xiaohu is very poor, and they lose a kill after the hard work had been done. WE, credit to them, getting that combo between Vampire and Karis does get the better side of that, but initially, you have to question Weibo when they've done all that hard work.
You really do. Breathe. Now stepping on forwards. With the Panda being saved by Cube. You don't want to let your maiden die like that. Don't become the tarnished. Xiaohu, though, started off by a good retreat, and then Tien's on vision this entire time. They know what Vampire's doing.
You know Vampire's there. Okay, he's clearing the ward. That's messy. Gets headbutt back. Tien, look, I think at the end of that, I was thinking, well, you know, let's praise WE a little bit. Now I see the replay and again, I'm like, Tien, what are you doing, man? That's just not acceptable here.
I mean, it's the right call from WE, right? But it's like, it was very much handed them onto a silver platter, full service. The waiter came in with white gloves on. Like, it was about as fine dining experience as you can ask for.
A Monkey's heading topside. Breathe quite low HP after taking a bad trade, though. Doesn't have the Eclipse just yet. Kills the ult from Q, but he's probably dead under turret here. Tien's going to be too late.
Oh, the public execution doesn't land as Monkey sidesteps it, and another easy kill. WE are running over this early game.
Yeah, Weibo are not tracking the members of W well, and they're using these moments to create these opportunities, and they're landing enough of them to worry Weibo now. 1,000 gold ahead. It was even enough in gold just before this.
You know what my thoughts about this game are?
What?
Monkey. What's that from again?
Kung Fu Panda. Monkey. No, it's Uguay saying it.
Thank you.
It's, yeah, that's honestly...
As opposed to Panda.
Exactly, yes, because you have Monkey Panda. We might see the light. Oh, he has Ghostblade, so he's actually quite hard to catch up by Vampire here. We'd have to flash forward for a combo. Likely be able to
It is Vampire. He might do it.
Well, all it would end up being is flash to flash at that point, which I suppose could be okay. Chris getting spotted out here. Good vision control from W around mid lane, actually. But you are now at the point where Varus is going to cash in Cull, instant delete waves in mid lane because he's a poke Varus, and WE are going to run out of options to really deal with this Varus. I think it is actually a big problem that W have not done anything about light so far. The Varus is very happy. Tien getting collapsed on here, though.
He might well have things to do. It's another Cyclone early. Teleport comes forward. Cube's going to flash out. Flash forward from Tien to get Cyclone Part 2. Shadow also around. Alistair is not here. They're on reset. The Talia also not around. Cube is now a dead Yorick.
That's better. Tien uses the Cyclone to block the Pantheon W. It makes sense to cast it early in this situation, and he gets more value out of it. Gets himself kill participation. He has left now. Monkey will secure his own Grom.
Now going to go forward as Vampire. Remember, Tien has burned a fair amount of his cooldowns. Won't have his Warrior Trickster for a little bit. Now Crisp gets the Battle Dance out. Doesn't really lead to all that much. Where's the Grand Starfall? Weaver's Wall angle? Nah.
I think if Karis had roamed down, potentially an option, but especially with Breathe just teleported away, he'll be getting himself a free wave on top side. Cube can teleport in to pick up that wave. It might force the summoner. We'll send, yeah, there we go. Going to teleport up towards that top side, cash out that wave. We'll miss a minion or so. With that, we'll see as the stats come down on top. So that's the amount of plates that were taken, by the way. It's just in, obviously, in Mandarin. But you look at the top, and that's the amount of gold earned from plates, and the bottom one is gold. And the gold is now completely evened up. Weibo, we're 1,000 gold behind from that play, and a little bit of value elsewhere. Managed to get themselves back into even. And WE, the early game, it has actually been good in terms of creating opportunities. It just hasn't materialized in as much as I would have hoped.
Hey, Alex,
hello.
You're technically now wrong because it's 100 gold difference as you were speaking. Get a bit back and forth, you know.
Hang on.
Wait, it's not. It's different. That's 100 gold difference.
Wait. Oh, it's even again. Oh, sad. It's technically. Oh, no. Got it. Man, these tiny 100.
No. Yeah,
look, I'm just saying, if I had 100 gold in real life,
yeah, I would be very happy.
I'd be very happy.
Very true.
100 gold in League of Legends. It's made us.
Yeah.
I think the economics of League have made me into a very different
person. But let's not have
person.
influence points anymore. The exchange rate has all gone wrong.
Oh, influence points IP. I forgot about that. Oh. Yeah, that was the thing, wasn't it? Wait, didn't they just change the name of influence points?
Then it's now Blue Essence, yeah.
Yeah, Blue Essence, that's the one. We used to be able to buy, well, champions with it, which we still do now. We used to buy rune pages with it.
Yes.
Which was a big thing. One thing which look, we're riffing about now because we're running out of actual gameplay to talk about. Herald has started, but one of the big things is that the ultimates haven't really been used that much by WE right now. They're on the Herald itself. They're likely to get this. Is there a contest? Xiaohu's a bit late.
Tien's got Cyclone again. There's the Herald down. Collapse coming on forward. Cyclone onto Cube. Who's going to throw down the Dark Procession. The exhaust comes down. Public execution of the back line. Turnaround. Shockwave flashed out from Karis. Nicely done. Crisp stunned up. What about the rest of the fight? Tien's being sucked dry by the Maiden. Breathe also low. Nice piercing arrow. Chunked Vampire low, but unfortunately Breathe still dies.
What ended up happening there was Breathe hit too many targets with his ult. He wanted to kill Cube, but hit someone beyond him, so he couldn't kill the Yorick. Ends up being a 1-for-none in favor of WE because of that, and the Herald over to the side of WE, so that's a win for them.
It is Tien now topside with Xiaohu and Cube on this low HP. Can't really fight this. Herald for WE, I think, also get some feat to strength because they had the early dragon and the early grub.
Yeah,
so that is strong feat.
Yeah. Watch what happens here with strong feet. I mean, their feet have just got stronger. Yeah. Look, the Cyclone's fine here, and you use that in time, but the Alistair stood just behind it means that the Ambassador ult doesn't go onto the Yorick. It goes onto the Alistair. He then gets to sit and pulverize them. Vampire and a Crisp Spark. Crisp gets a bit of a sad combo in there too, but Breathe angling his ult in such a way that it hits the Alistair. Means that you can't finish off the Yorick and walk away with a bit of a stronger fight.
And second dragon now as well. Look, gold's been even, but WE have been the ones getting the majority of the early objectives here, and where the gold is going to matter. Yes, actually, light putting your head on the Varus. That's great news. You need that to be happening, but it's a 2-0-2 Pantheon. It's a 2-0-3 Pantheon. I meant to say Talia and Pantheon. I did the wrong order around. The point being, mid jungle is quite strong for WE.
They are. And again, it is worth noting the gold's not out of proportion just yet. W do have the Herald that will likely break open, or at least force a response from Weibo to potentially to defend this mid turret. The side lane turret's getting quite low. W might be able to break that open at some point. If they manage to get both side lane out of turrets in the same kind of push, use that to get a momentary gold lead before Weibo can answer them in kind. Perhaps there's a way that they can start using these big ultimates to make a big power play. We haven't really seen the Grand Starfall Weaver's Wall combo work that effectively so far from WWE.
What would gold out of proportion look like? Would they just start like being like really weirdly shaped? Like,
what do you mean?
As in, like, would they have like the anime boobies and like?
What?
Because you're saying out of proportion. I was like, well, what
the gold? Yeah, the gold would be out of proportion.
Exactly. So what would make?
Well, why would that be WWE?
Why
are you saying that the actual like gold pieces themselves would be like?
I don't know.
Have that?
I was going for proportion. I'm trying to be silly with it, Alex.
Well, it is very silly, Sam. Congratulations, you've achieved your goal. Yeah. Now, if it was like it's 100 gold ship lead, then I'm terrified.
Ah, well, you get drop kick, right?
I can barely deal with a single gold ship. That character it terrifies me. It appears in my dreams.
Have you seen the memes of gold ship's face around, like the actual horse's face?
Yes, many. Yeah. Yeah, I have. You know, also, I think Goldship inspired Michael Jackson briefly at one point.
Yeah,
He turned up to Paris and then started moonwalking in front of the crowd.
That
Look, there's a lot about that horse which is just not normal.
the horse just sort of got inspired by Michael Jackson.
No, the other way around.
Oh.
The other way around.
Did Michael Jackson just go and look at Goldship and go, I too can move?
Now, I don't... Look, I'm not sure. Look, that's all I've seen a comment about it, and I thought, well, that's kind of funny. I'll say that online at some point. I'll spread that misinformation if it's misinformation.
Spreading misinformation.
Maybe I have. Back into the actual information of this game, I suppose.
Yeah.
Important information is the Varus is still very far ahead, and no one's really managed to stop the Varus
That's
doing
very
anything. WE are going to be going towards this side lane out of turret. On the other side, Xiao, who's doing the same, will be 1-for-1. Can W look for a fight before the...
Another slight fight over camps again, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, Tien's been having a rough go of it recently.
He kind of has, hasn't he?
Yeah, I've not really loved the skirmishes he's been taking. There is an ult... Okay, that's not a great ult, actually. WE, these globals, not looking fantastic right now.
The first 10 minutes, fantastic now. It's been a bit more awkward. Still going to get the red buff. Still got a couple minutes until the next objective. So, hey, if you're going to throw them out a little bit carelessly, now will be the time to do it.
Yes, but now it means that you are in a position without those global ultimates, and Weibo can potentially march forward with a 2-item Varus with the Swifties coming out of base, and maybe make a play around mid lane instead. I think this is the point where Weibo like, well, okay, we don't have to be paying attention now to those double globals. WE, by failing that play, give Weibo a chance to group up and say, all right, let's go find a fight while you can't bring the extra numbers to the play.
Okay. Alistair's top side. Goes down that ward. Red buff invade to potentially trade out from the other side. No idea where anybody is.
They see that Krugs.
Now.
They see that the Krugs are up too. So surely Monkey will be a hinter at some point. Walk out of here.
Shockwave only onto the Alistair. Good flash away by Karis, to be fairness. Quickness also blown. Gonna flash out from Vampire. He's got the Unbreakable Will rolling. TP coming on forwards, and I wonder whether they might look at this.
Teleport away from Karis.
Oh no!
But okay.
They're going to try and make this Herald play. I thought with the Atakan being there, they might start that one up, but no. Teleport away won't lead to trouble this time around, like we saw the teleport away last time being problematic.
No, I think that Weibo ran out of steam a little bit. This is better, though, onto Karis.
Going to try and get onto the back line. He takes a fair amount of damage, has got the redemption coming on down, but they just can't quite get the damage. Now Tien is low. Will Nimbus strike towards Taeyun, just stands and delivers.
Really disconnected from Weibo. They managed to get out some good summoners, but WE bring the jungle support to peel very well to that play, and it's Tien once again choosing a poor angle. 1,000 gold down for his second death of the game. Weibo's jungler struggling here versus WE.
They are. Atakan. Going to be started up this time with some teleports responding to them from Xiao. He's got 5 seconds on his Shockwave. Crisp, Light also around. What about the potential angle for that Shockwave onto the Atakan? All the while Vampire treating up with Breathe. Not going to have the easiest time. Shockwave is good! Shockwave is good! Only gets Taeyun though as the turnaround begins to happen as Crisco's trading on down. As Cube also flashing over to try and get Xiao, who flashes away in trade, but the Morning Mist comes on down and he will bring down the Orianna. Monkey in the 1v2 versus Breathe, who can't quite get the kill. Flash away! Knock up from Vampire. He's trying to get some value back. Shield vault forward. Aegis Assault. Light's going to eat that damage. Vampire eats the piercing arrow. My days, the comments.
No, the cancel auto! Light gives up the kill by cancelling the auto, and Monkey carries the fight. 5-0-4 on the Pantheon.
Somehow, some way, WE get Atakan and come away with even more kills.
Monkey goes back onto those Krugs, which were worded earlier. Weibo, things just fall apart magnificently there, don't they? They lose the smite in the mid lane because the Monkey dies. Their own Monkey, the Wukong. We go up towards this plate. They're not looking for a smite fight. They're looking for the fight itself with the Shockwave, which comes in pretty good. Instant kill onto the AD carry, makes it into a 4v4. You think that's playable, but then Risk goes too far. Their engage is down there. Cube gets to go onto Xiaohu. Part of the damage is gone. Xiaohu walks up, goes into too close range. It's been a poor game from him, honestly, in some ways. The Shockwave was good, but his spacing was poor. That at least Light manages to take one over. And Breathe ends up not getting that great spacing himself either. Monkey gets to go into there, gets his healing before the E healing from Varus comes down, and the Q is too short time from Lights.
Oh, that auto
cancels the auto, and he dies. Could have charged the Q more, could have not cancelled that auto, walked away with the kill. Misplay from Light, Monkey pounces, capitalizes, and is still unkilled.
Very fine margins, but Monkey again, some discussions in chat, and I think I largely agree. Monkey's probably up there as one of... Is he a top 4 jungler in the league right now? Hell, is he a top 3 jungler in the league right now?
Tarzan's not been on great form, so that's definitely someone I'd put down. I think that Shadow's been good. I think that, Kanabi's still been good. Xiaohao, I think, might be better.
Yeah, Xiaohao's pretty solid, but again, Group Nirvana.
But
so,
that one's
yeah.
actually a bit more questionable. And yeah, I think he's top 4. I think you can make an argument for top 3. But the question is there. This is obviously on quick to start. I kind of glance over towards the rosters. But I think top 4 is very, very reasonable to argue. Top 3, I think you could argue as well.
Again, there's a question, of course. We've got Form V class arguments because Tarzan, Tien not having the easiest time of it right now.
Oh,
Turn it around to
flash.
public execution into the backline. Monkey will try and get forward. Good shockwave, though, and they will finally kill that Monkey. I am so sorry. That's got to count as a caster curse.
Yep, the top 3 jungler goes down. Repudiation gets some shielding through. It would be enough to see him through. Cube has no flash if they can force a fight, but Taeyun using that strength well.
Oh, and the health bars from Weibo aren't fantastic here. The Maiden does finally get brought low by the command attack and some protect from forwards as well.
So WE get caught out on choke points. Breathe delivers the shockwave into the backline. W are not ready for that. Shockwave, the Ghost Blade used by Light to get out of that safely. But while all this is happening, you just notice that, well, okay, there's the Atakan on WE. Oh, they've got their 2 grubs. That's pretty good for them. Oh, they're on 3 dragons as well.
Oh, yeah, that little thing.
And they just took their 4th tower as well. Weibo are not that far behind in gold, but they've only taken a single tower themselves, whereas WE just took 2 turrets in the mid lane. WE getting the strategic advantages. I do think there are some worries as we get, potentially towards this next dragon in 3 minutes that Weibo could out 5v5 them. I think we can see the huge AoE damage that can come through. But I think with Tien struggling and the Wukong being quite an easy kill in a lot of these fights so far, WE, I think they should be perking their ears up. They're currently a 1-7 team. They're looking for only their 2nd win at this split so far in terms of series. Weibo floundering a little bit. Tien struggling. This should be a green light for them.
Yeah, blood in the water for sure. And WE have managed to get game wins again against so many big teams.
BLG
never
twice,
the whole
by the
damn
way.
series. Yeah, exactly. Back-to-back days, by the way.
Invade onto the blue buff. Pantheon Slayer on the top side of the map, pushing in towards the inner turret. 2 minutes till Dragons. There's no reason for him to not be up here, right? He has teleport in his ultimate too anyway. Should be able to get this inner turret. Weibo choosing to group up on the bottom side of the map and giving this over. This will be an easy take with the 2 grubs. And of course, Mage's getting some extra damage to towers through their AP as the game goes on. Weibo really struggling with their macro, I think.
Yeah.
Now, they've picked up waves well. That's been fine. Actually getting in position to fight well, that's been the problem. Their team fighting out of the mid-table teams has been some of the weakest. They need some individual insane performances. I don't think the coordination is there to kind of see them through team fights without that, really. And we can see that with, Tien and Xiaohu a little earlier into the game. At least that last one, Breathe and Xiaohu on the right spot. I think Crisp has been struggling too. WE, they've been winning out in the jungle support matchup quite heavily so far this game.
It's like for Weibo Gaming. Have we seen a very good coordinator play for them this game on their own terms?
Some of it's been reactionary, really, hasn't it? There was that play in that topside jungle, their own topside jungle. That's about as good as it gets for them. Minute till Dragon now. WE could get towards their Mountain Soul. This is a powerful Varus. Hasn't been a game about the Varus, though, sadly. The poke has not been allowed to continue for long enough, partly because Weibo have found themselves in fights and necessarily disengaged. I want to see if Light can carry a late game as we're getting towards that now. 27 minutes. I suppose we're at the end of the mid game, really. But when Soul gets onto the table, when Baron's in there too, that's when I start to think, okay, we're getting towards those later margins now. Need to see Light step up.
Late games kind of move more towards that 25-minute mark, hasn't it? It used to be a bit more of a nebulous thing, like sometime post 20 minutes.
Hang on, Taeyun, just use that Valkyrie has flash. Wondering if there was a quickness combo available. Had the cleanse, so I suppose not. Cyclone, a bit harder to cleanse away from though, isn't it? If you get flash Cyclone into the Shockwave, you don't often survive them. Good area control from WE. They have good vision control around this bot side of the map. They have good choke point control with the Talia. Potential of the Weaver's Wall. You can see how little vision Weibo have. They do need to approach this though. 10 seconds to the objective. They were a little bit slow towards it before. They've been spotted heading to a spot side jungle. They'll cover their flank now. Go towards the bot side, and they have made their way into river. That's one of the harder things to do. WE, I wonder whether they could have stuck on the map a little longer and potentially jumped onto them, but it's quite hard to jump into the death ball.
Cube isn't here yet. Just coming through mid lane now. I'm assuming he backed a bit late because he wanted to get a big item.
I don't love Weibo starting the dragon. I think that they should be playing a little slower. I suppose you're worried about the Talia angles. I think you're worried about the Yorick pushing mid lane. Dragon's been peeled off again, and WE, they of course can give up the dragon. They could potentially take this turret just with one wave, one minion. There's another one coming forwards.
So right.
Fighting towards this now. Crisp looking for an engage. WE, they have the better strategy in this scenario, though.
TP now coming forwards. Weaver's wall comes on down. Breathe looking for an engine angle. Dragging down to 3k HP. Vampire slowed down, but no, it's taken! WE win the flip, the public execution, but the only people dying will be Weibo Gaming. It is all going so damn wrong. Monkey falls. Breathe gets that one. But that is a minor silver lining, and I think it might be fake silver at that, tarnished by Weibo's unfortunate levels. But wait, Light actually with a fair amount of damage. Garrus goes golden. Cube very early on that morning mist will not change things as Show flashes forwards and the last rides come on down. It's over.
Light doesn't get either of those last 2 kills. The Smite fight won once again by Monkey, who is by far the MVP in this game. Jungler for WE. Diffing Tien across fights, across objectives, and in this late game too, Weibo, they did not approach that objective with enough patience, I suppose. They were really frightened by Cube pushing down the mid lane. They've struggled to deal with them. The Baron will go down after him. WE will get themselves in prime position to take this first game.
And again, WE had a really great position on the map. Soul on the line, inhibitor under threat. Weibo pulled the trigger and pull it, unfortunately, haphazardly.
It's really hard to beat a Pantheon Q Smite. Then Tien, flashes forward, immediately gets stunned up, doesn't get anything with the Cyclone, goes down to basically, no cooldowns left, right? Doesn't get onto the carries. Tien, another poor fight from him. I hate to categorize Weibo as just, Tien struggling, but it is a huge part of their losses right now.
Yeah.
He has fallen apart on an individual level. He's choosing the wrong fights. He's engaging poorly and not coordinated. I really think he's been struggling an awful lot. Flash forward from Xiao, who doesn't see him to safety either. Karras makes it out alive.
He does, and now we are in the position where Taeyun is at 3 items. Yeah, he's down 400 gold, but everywhere else is massive leads. Monkey is on 3.5 items on this Pantheon. You've got a Jack show in for Cube. You've gotten nearly the Zonya's done for Karras. Breathe steps on forwards. Can Weibo find something there? No, they can't. Again, look, you just don't have that much in the way of serious ways to threaten people as Freddie Mode. At least Light's got the last whisper, but the poke just isn't going to be as valuable at this point in the game.
The problem with Light now is that he needs a Serpent's Fang. He needs it for the Mountain Soul. He's the only one that can realistically build it. I suppose Tien could in a perfect game, but he's
maybe fourth?
Yeah, perhaps he could too. That's actually worth noting. It's a fairly cheap item, and he's at his core anyway. Someone needs to build it. See if the game lasts that long, honestly. WE, significant lead, of course. 5,000 gold, the advantage, pushing in with both Yorick on the sideline and the group. Elsewhere, Breathe goes in!
Tries to find his way to the backside, does get a fair amount of value, but really good arrow from the Varus doesn't lead to anyone dying. Crisp has to battle down to where the Redemption's going to keep him topped up, and Cube, make sure the Xiao's not involved. Your Orianna isn't here because they're losing to a Panda going in the backside, and Orianna just goes, oh god, it's awful!
I think Vampire cancelled the arrow from Light there. It was being channeled in. He hit the ult, but he couldn't get the follow-up arrow. I believe that's what happened anyway, but Vampire got a really good denial of the sab. I'm just not talking about whatever the hell you just did into the microphone. Jesus Christ. Never do the grapefruit method ever again.
My new impression. Teletubbies has taught me well.
Yeah, this is Nunu, not League of Legends. So W will break the inhibitor in both mid and bot lane. What just happened? What?
I had fun. Everyone else, that's on you guys.
Yeah, Jesus. Okay, Weibo will limp away from their own bases. I mean, Elder's in 2.5 minutes. It could get down to an Elder flip at that point.
We eat wires, folks. We eat wires.
Yep, true.
Well, here we are. I'm a professional. I get paid to commentate on video games. And that moment there is exactly why the big bucks are coming my way. Karras. Going to shove up the stop side. It has actually ended up being a little bit longer than perhaps you might have expected, because WE have done quite a good job in terms of getting the objectives and stuff, but they've still got to find a way to end the game. 2 inhibitors down. Baron about to end in 8 seconds. They've done critical damage, but they are realistically going to need one big fight, one extra objective to finish what they started.
They can do, I mean, look, a good enough shockwave maybe still makes the difference. Tien, he's not exactly at that point. Karras holding that choke point, getting some poke down. They managed to get the ult out of Ambessa.
Nice goes golden as they're already pulled back on the charm onto Karras, but the redemption heal keeps Karras alive. They just don't have enough. Monkey interrupted on the shield by the cyclone, but Vampire in the backside, the Hemper, the Pulverize. Weibo Gaming Light with a good flash over the wall, but Monkey will just follow and secure the kill. Got himself the Mortal Will fully stacked. breathe, though. Actually pretty scary here, potentially, but Cube and Monkey have got enough in the tank to threaten this Ambessa, who's got a load of very angry mini pandas. The deadliest creature on Runeterra, and a triple kill towards his Pantheon will lead towards the end of the game. WE! They get one, but can they finally get a second? That'll be for the rest of the series to find out.
Quite literally a Monkey diff. Monkey on the Pantheon goes absolutely ape mode onto the side of Weibo, whose own Wukong just cannot stand and fight for so much of that game. Some flaws that you can exploit. We'll get ourselves into the Rift for our fourth timer today. First series went to 2. This one's on our second game too. See if it'll close out here. Let's hear those gyros.
Trade there are some of the wards. Someone had fumbled the game there on those mics. We were getting a little bit of feedback, just about. Which didn't lead to any piercing numbers, but there we go. There's the spikes we were talking about. You said, look, the early game snowball from WE very strong. Statistically seems to be backed up there, but the later the game goes, you are into Jhin, Victor with solid frontline. You will hit a point where that bulwark becomes very hard to break down.
So WE need to make sure they make a difference before that happens. Potential Q of the wall misses though from Crisp. Of course, Crisp, a player that's been pinged about rosters. Hang on a second, Tien. He gets spotted out once again here, I think. The wall will get cleared. Q does land this time.
Evil from Skarner traded back, but that Cosmic Binding was good. Turn around onto Light, who eats a bit of damage himself, but Monkey going to be left at about half here. We'll get a fair amount back because Red Buff and Smite.
Yeah, and also he doesn't have to lane at level 1. Light will dodge out on that Q, which is important for him, but just pulled that mantra and goes on cooldown.
Oh, no.
Does he still have the Q up there? He does, so it will... Well, I thought it was going to time out, actually. It doesn't last for forever, of course. Need to see how they play on that now. Tien also needs to find a way to get some camps over on the other side of the map. For that to happen, Weibo need to get some pushing lanes. I don't think that's going to be easy. Karras has the shotgun, lands both parts of it. So Xiaohu's winning mid lane. That's not going to happen. He's got the pot ticking. He does have the level 2 now. Tien will walk over after getting that level 2, but potentially Monkey can go over and make a difference anyway.
I'm trying to find that twofold hex. Can't quite land that one. Karras, another player who's been very up and down. When he's looked good, he's looked fantastic. When he hasn't, he's down 30 CS, missing every skill shot, and unable to save lane to save his life. It has been very odd to track this player. Tien does at least get the invade off, and Cube is kind of shoved into the turret early on, but I think with the way the map has been split, I can see why Cube might not be super eager to overpush there on the Rumble.
Keep going over towards Wolves. He won't be able to defend his Raptors, so what will end up being is 2 camps stolen for 2 camps stolen, exactly the same across the map, but this does isolate bot lane in favor of WE. They know that Tien can't really walk towards bot lane. There's not enough room on the bot side of the map. Yes, he could take Krugs, but he doesn't have multiple ganks. He's going to go towards Karras now. Still only at level 2, actually, because he took Wolves, Rub Buff, and Raptors. There's not enough to get him the level 3, I suppose. We'll need to get something from elsewhere. Doesn't have the pillar, importantly, because of that.
No, he doesn't. Scarlet, but I finished with blue buff, can theoretically do something like Krugs into... Sorry,
level 3 to level 2.
Ooh, good chunk. You're right there. I was busy looking at jungle pathing, and on screen there's violence occurring. I'm about to say, Skarner can just do Krugs into Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, but he's instead, Skarner's now going potentially into bot lane. Can they get a fight before the level 3 comes in? Probably not. 2 minions likely to get killed now. One of them goes down. Level 3 will come off that cannon. That is important at level 3. There you go. They'll have that for a little bit of safety. They don't have heal. They do have barrier. Krug's going to be taken by Monkey, and no one's here to protect them. WE, they need this early game leader, and they're starting well.
There's the level 4 hit. Monkey just walking on forwards. Now they got the focus resolved. The deadly flourish is wide. Dive comes on down, and Chris makes sad. Ooh,
yeah, and they can go for a redive here too. There's no CC left on Jhin. His W is too long cooldown. Light's in danger.
Upheaval, barrier. Turret shots come on down. It's still pretty scary. It's taking also has to barrier, trying to trade back. The focus resolve lands, and a boulder toss from Monkey gets the kill.
And no one from Weibo comes to help. Karras will lose a flash, but it's not going to be nearly enough for Weibo. Tien can't finish off for the kill. A blast cone will not be able to see enough. Weibo getting destroyed in the early game by Team WE.
That nearly worked in mid. It really did from Tien, but the flash still doesn't get the kill, and WE with the double dive, basically.
This is the thing. This is this is my counterpoint. Even if it does work here in mid lane, is it an even trade? No, it's not. Getting all the summoners off of bot lane, getting a double kill down there, getting the wave band there too. Even if things have worked out in mid lane, you are losing this early game. Because you lost the mid lane matchup so hard, because bot lane's been pushed in after the early invade, no one can come to save this bot lane. WWE have the better strategy for the early game, and Weibo have kind of sleptwalked their way into it. Well, Light tries to turn around sometimes, but realistically, there's no way he can outplay this. He's used all of his summoners already. He goes down. There's already a 10 CS lead and a kill and an assist onto Taeyun.
And importantly, W sure burned the heal, burned the barrier, but kept their flashes. Weibo have got nothing. Nothing at all, and they're returning the favor. The Cosmic Binding's early! And misses entirely. Crisp is burned to his namesake.
Light's not able to do much as Chris goes down 0 and 2. Weibo, you must have known there would have been an early game plan around an Ezreal Karma. They don't do enough to protect their bot lane, and WWE are smashing through this Ezreal. Taeyun's Ezreal has been so important to him, and Weibo, I can't help but think they've sleptwalked their way into this.
It's rough to see. The early priority is good. And the turret plate goes down. And again, they lane swap to try and get out of it. Monkey was waiting. Now they're in the jungle. Tien is here. Could theoretically maybe turn around, but there's still this Karma behind. The slow from the Mantra Q. Monkey is interrupted, stunned to all. I think he might just be dead here.
Flash.
I think got Nixtal's impact because they're going to magical journey over the wall. Taeyun now coming on down. The slow from the chop.
Shield.
And I think they're going to not be able to keep him safe nearly there with that shield, as Alex called out. But they do get that kill.
I wonder whether Vampire could flash shield, and that'd be enough because there was no flash left on Crisp or Tien. Didn't want to commit to it though. Monkey will go down. Potential of a magical journey now. Taeyun does have flash. Quite hard to catch him, but Vampire, if he goes too far up, now that's a juicier target.
I'm going to pull the trigger right now, and they are all off vision of WE. The reset from Trundle will come on through.
This is important. Getting some free farming time is really important. Great chunk onto him. The W Essence Flux lands. Good trade back onto Vampire, but health on an AD carry is more important than health on a support. The supports can reset a lot more freely, and they tend to have a little bit more room for pots and refill potions, as you can see from Vampire there. While this would have been good, now actually that chunk leads to Monkey having another dive angle. Weibo have no idea what they're doing to defend this bot lane. They are just going to get pile drived on cooldown here.
Exhaust and heal on Crisp. Maybe that's enough.
But they're getting zoned off a turret. Even though they don't die, they're likely losing another wave. He's half HP. He can't do anything here. 20 CS down. Weibo have no idea what to do about WE's relentless aggression through this bot lane early. This was a team that couldn't play anything but melee supports for so long. Vampire has done a lot of work into getting his Karma into a place where it's much more strong, and WWE know how to play around it. Taeyun's Ezreal set up for success. Monkey going down there on cooldown. And Weibo, they've not had a good response.
No, they haven't. No, they haven't. They managed to punish Monkey vaguely in the jungle, but it takes so many members, and they still end up losing so much topside. That's a 1,400 gold lead to the Ezreal early. Reminder, last time we were seeing these teams play, Vampire's never got a hold of the Karma.
Potential of a W cancelling out a recall. That'll stop that. That's important. Does mean that, again, you can maybe get a extra wave now to Light, because Taeyun and Vampire are a little bit slow back to lane. WE, reminder, folks, that the early games have been good, and currently the lead in that AD carry is so nice. Can they stop another recall? Hang on, Vampire's going to get stopped there. Not able to stop Taeyun on the other side. Problem is what happens with their mid games after. The early game's been good. Weibo's has been poor on the other side. Both of those have coincided with each other, really. Can WWE stick the landing with this lead going into mid game now? Taeyun is so set up to carry. WWE need to stick the landing.
At the very least, because Monkey is kind of obligated to pick up that wave because of the delayed resets, Tien does at least get the grubs. Big chunk now coming on forwards. Round of field comes on down. Twofold Hex, chunked across, Karis down about 20% HP.
Staying back out onto the map after spending so much too is going to be... I mean, how do you deal with this? How do you deal with this Ezreal now? The Jhin has been left to the wolves. I suppose Weibo in last game, they had the lead on Light. You couldn't make the difference. Problem is now he just doesn't have the resources to even get anywhere close to a difference maker in this game now. That Jhin is... that Jhin does need a little bit of gold to help things work. Jhin without early game leads does struggle to do damage.
So, Crisp now towards this bot side again. The Bard, that we kind of saw the angle for it as a potential way to get a range support, buy a bit of time for this Jhin. We've seen T1 of all teams get some success with that. Of course, after some memes initially with the failed world champion game 5.
Yeah, true. That was the Varus against the game 5, wasn't that when they were playing Varus into the Bard?
No, they did Jim Bard and it went wrong and everyone was memeing them for playing Jim Bard thinking, oh, what is this angle? And everyone later on's gone, oh, actually this combo's not as bad as we thought it was.
Right. Because I do remember them playing Varus Karma against DRX in the finals in that game 5. They had to avoid the Bard ults all the time. It was very, very... yeah, it was a hell of a game. That was an awesome game, by the way, for those of you who want to have some free time and want to watch back a historical series, World Finals 2022. Hell of a game.
Comes the Inner Flame, not the Soul Flare, that's the Mantra Q. Wow. Bit of a chunk. Monkey on this dragon. First objective to go with Weibo Gaming. Oh, Chris made a massive chunk from that Soul Flare. Can't find the W. For the life of me, can't remember what Karma-based W is called. I know the Empowered one's Focus Resolve. There is another one. Renewal. Renewal is the Empowered one. That's the one. Took me a second as Dragon now coming down to about 1800 HP TN is around. But there's a W again. The Tether's going to land on in into the Empowered Soul Flare, courtesy of some mantras being yelled by Karma.
I was actually wondering whether Monkey could go for a flash ult there with a good enough Ixtal's impact, but pill it out of the wall. Vampire is still at the point where his poke is really annoying still.
Exhaust comes on down onto Monkey, flashes away, but they're going to get that Impale after. He's got a Subjugate rolling. Curtains also called Monkey Pledge, but Between Worlds comes across 3. Curtains do get a fair amount of damage down. Oh, what a read from Taeyun! Gets the Mystic shot on the flash away from TN.
What a tilter for TN! Flash predicted by Taeyun, his Ezreal at 3-0-1. Weibo's early game set the Ezreal up for success as TN was out-jungled by Monkey. And now he's outplayed by him in his own jungle. WE, this AD carry is taking them places.
Let's have a look again, because it starts with Monkey and Vampire potentially going too far, but they disengage well enough.
I mean, I think the Subjugate comes out too early, and then the binding misses from Chris. If that hits, and there's a guy just ulted in front of them by the Trundle, that should be dead. I also think then the 4th shot should have gone onto Karis and not onto there. And this is just the cherry on top. Flashed into it. Tiana's had a horrid series today, and that is only going to make him feel worse.
I mean, when we were first starting to get a look at Taeyun being a solid AD carry in the league, and we weren't just saying, oh, whatever, one of these imports that come on over from LCK, having another great time there, and he's just going to be one among many. You know what I mean? When we first started going, oh, hang on. Taeyun's kind of got something to him. And again, this split's not been great from him, at least at the start. Says Cube getting jumped on. I was about to wax lyrical about Ezreal. We may just need to talk about a really good pillar into Cosmic Binding combo. But Cube just says, yeah, you don't actually have the damage here.
Jhin doesn't have ult. Used it unsuccessfully in that last play. They do have 3 grubs, and Trundle kills turrets really quick. Teleport coming up from the Aurora. He doesn't have ult. Teleport coming in from Cassante. We haven't seen Breathe in this game really do much yet. He's going to be behind the turret, and that's going to be teleport for teleport. Weibo not really getting what they're coming for there.
True shot barrage from Taeyun also cleaned up the range minions, so he even gets the farm. It's not even like they're dropping that. And we are seeing, because W have snowballed really well, which in fairness in draft you were asking them to do, they've done that really well off the priority. They've managed to get leads wherever you can. Look, on the whole, the only thing that is perhaps a little against them is the CS numbers in solo lanes are still a little low, but hey, the playmaking's been good, and they are significantly ahead here.
Yeah, I do think that Weibo have been better at picking up waves across the map than WE. That's been actually, we've seen this quite a lot. W aren't fantastic at playing around side lanes. We've noticed that a few times when they've had to play to Cube when he's been behind the game, and actually he's ended up losing them games effectively because WE, I think WE know how to play towards Taeyun, and they know to play through the mid lane of the map when Monkey and Vampire are kind of invading into jungle. If things go further for them, and they did last split, of course, the thing which I need to see for them is actually, okay, top lane's going to be put under pressure. Don't just leave Cube to the walls. Because I will say, look, I don't think Cube's been great. I think some people out there are unfairly judging Cube for actually macro mistakes from WE, leaving him out in unplayable situations. It can be both at the same time. That's what I want to see from WE next. On the other side for Weibo, because we talked about some of the bits from WE here, I'm getting pretty disappointed with this team. I'm getting pretty disappointed with Tien's level of play. We know what this guy's meant to be like as an LPL regional god. He has really, really struggled here today against obvious early plays coming through from WE, like that early invade. Shahu around the corner from Chris, but he might still be dead. Karis is just going to one-shot him.
Oh boy, just about flashes out. That two-fold Hex nearly took him out, but the two-shot barrage, track it. Ooh. I tracked it. It went missing.
Good job.
Deutsche Post had it.
It's gone over to a neighbor at that point. Taeyeon's, but hang on, this is a really dangerous fight for Weibo. Taeyeon's in a good spot, but this is a good choke point.
Oh, and the Impale comes on down. The Tempered Fate means that they can't get the damage. Now, Taeyeon needs to Arcane Shift away and does so. Between worlds, good damage on the Crisp. Is that rollback going to be enough? No, it is not. The burn is good, but Crisp survives with the heal.
I thought the Gromp was going to tag in for an assist there, but WE lose Monkey on the aggressive play. This is one of the issues with their composition. The Skarner really struggles against the Trundle as a sole engage. I thought it was okay there for W because Taeyeon was stood behind the play, and with such a fed Ezreal, you would have thought that would be a game changer. Breed's going to walk. Hang on a second. Breed's going to look in for a great play here. Oh, that's not a bad place to be.
Go all out. Vampire can still flash away and does for a second. The Deadly Flourish comes on down, and Tien with the Subjugate, I think, must have got that now to red buff bed. That's what it was. Figured it out now. All the while, though, the Equalizer comes on down. Herald secured, and WE just overplay it a bit.
Oh dear, because we were just talking about the early game leads, right? It's gone. It's gone. W don't have a gold lead anymore. Kasante comes into the play. Vampire ends up making a big mistake hiding around that corner. I suppose they thought, well, we can look for an equalizer play while they're taking the Herald. They didn't expect Weibo to come looking for them first. And WE, we praised their early game. We were saying, look, we were disappointed in Weibo. WE's mid games have been some concerns for them. And so I suppose Weibo's been a little bit better. They now have 3 kills onto Tien, who, let's be honest, I might have just cast a Blessed him. Was just flaming.
Oh man, cursing him pretty hard, I think.
Obvious early game mistakes. Out jungled by Monkey. 3 kills, 800 gold up now on a champion, which potentially could solve the game for them. He's in a great spot now.
Maybe in Taeyeon we trust then. He's still up 1,200 gold individually. This Jin is not having a very fun time. Say, before that mistake, I was about to say Vampire been having a fantastic game. Been really using those W's in particular as kind of like the extra engage tool they need. First turret might well go the way of Weibo here, top side. Monkey's going to walk at this mid-tier 1.
Trundle's coming behind them. Good stun on the turret. They don't have any grubs to help force the play.
And they are going to get driven into the wall. Damage going on to Tien, who's going to get the subject, but the Impale comes on down. Interrupted by a lot of stuns there. Monkey trying to flash away. Tempered Fate stops the Ezreal doing any damage. A mistimed Q3, though, means he's not going to get pulled back. Current's now getting called. Taeyeon needs to Arcane Shift away to stop the damage coming on forwards. And WE lose another member.
They do, and there's an equalizer, there's a wave clear. The clean feed's going to die. We have reached out to the LPL to see what the hell's happening on their end with this. And hopefully things won't explode while we're coming through. Folks, again, this is not on our end. This is on China's side as well. Go yell at them, not us. We do get a couple of that sometimes, and we'll wait for that audio to come back.
Gonna wait on the audio. When you hear the audio, it means the feed will be returning. Wait for it. There it is. Audio, and we're live. And WE did not find the kill they were looking for with that equalizer. Feels like Cube's been a little late to get these equalizers done. And here's the replay as they go for this mid-tier 1, and Tien just says, yeah, you can't do that.
Well, Impale onto the Trundle. Yeah, doesn't really do much when you're subjugated.
Great. I wonder with Breathe that flash forward missing that Q3 might have been a problem, going a bit too deep. They just don't have the damage here. Like, finally Cube's turned up, finally Karis has turned up, but they were delayed getting there. And look, we've said WE side lane play is not fantastic. Part of that is the collapses from side lanes as well, kind of suck. Dragon. 4 minutes off. Remember, Weibo got that one at the end of that. Taeyeon really wants to get this mid-tier 1, and that would help, to be fair. Getting that mid lane tier 1 would be great. Weibo, though, feat of strength. They've got the objectives. They're going to get a second turret here. They've got 3 grubs. They have a Trundle. This turret will disappear. The thing is, I think WE are probably going to have to hard force mid again, try and get this turret. The problem is, Breathe and Crisp constantly collapsing. There's always an extra member here from Weibo to prevent Taeyeon from extending this lead. It has now halved, actually, fairly significantly.
Weibo in a much better position than they were in that early game. And this, again, this is the worry for WE. We had so much praise them because I think any other team with that early game lead would have been rolling that through into a clean win. I don't think this is going to be, even if WE walk away with this now, I don't think it's a clean win anymore. No. Trundle's been allowed back into the game. WE have allowed that Subjugate to be the game changer and not Monkey's Skarner, which has so often been kind of like his crown jewel. Crisp's ultimates too, credit to him, he's another player we've criticized an awful lot. Had some great ults. He actually might get caught out here.
Magical journey.
Monkey's not going to go ram into the wall there. Crisp will get out safely.
So, not really all that much on the map to play around right now. Good trap setups again. If you are a gym player and you are going towards mid, these are where you want to be putting your traps. Makes it a lot harder for people to come and gank you through those side bushes. It's good to walk across and get slowed so much. You just get to walk away from a deadly flourish. Then it can be quite challenging then to lock you down for all that you lack range with your just basic ability, with your basic attacks. Your abilities do give you a lot more tools to play around lanes more safely. Reset from Taeyun, is that going to be the second item? Can't be far off.
And there it is, and he'll be able to transform that with an extra auto attack or two. Remember, 3 grubs and Herald give a lot of tower pushing to Weibo. They have decent range as well with the Victor poke. It's a dead tower. True Shot Barrage too late and too little. WE now down 3 towers to 1, and Weibo, they've stabilized. Credit to them, they've stabilized. WE, oh, don't say it can happen again. 1 and 7, a great first game and a great early game here. Does that all end at that point?
Down 1,500 gold, it might, you know.
Yeah, and we did say they kind of need the early lead. Kind of need it.
They
Need to play around it. I don't think Karma Shields are going to be that impactful versus, you know, the crazy damage that can come through from a Trundle onto the first target, the AoE damage that can come through from the Victor. He's about to get himself up to 10 stack Rod of Ages. WE, they have great AoE damage from Karis and Cube. I don't think they have the best setup for it because it's only Monkey that can engage. He's going to get pillared out of his charge. He's going to get subjugated if he does close the distance. Their game plan now is very difficult. They don't have the gold to give them the extra room for error.
No, and all the while, like, just look at the mid lane, right? This Victor, nearly at the full stacks of the Roa, is up about 1,200 gold. Vampire's trying with these renewals to get some value with the roots, but it's not enough.
Yeah. Once you do that past, like, the 15-minute mark, it really hurts. That's the subjugates.
Try and turn this around. They do get the impale, but the pillar again. That Untempered Fate is phenomenal, and the Cosmic Binding afterwards. Oh, that's 3 in a row from Crisp that have wrecked Taeyun's day.
Well, the bed's made, the sheets are crisp, and WE are laying in it. Crisp, awesome combo from him, gets the CC as WE, I think this game is about dead and buried now. I don't see how they can fight back from a deficit. This is where the game starts to fall apart. Vampire trying to make these plays on the Karma in mid-game with the renewals. It doesn't work like that once you get past the 20-minute mark. You're not the early game, you're not the mid-game powerhouse that you are in the early game. Atakan freely taken by Weibo, and WE down across the board.
Deadly Flourish lands, Cosmic Binding comes down. I think, okay, Impale onto TM, we can get the kill, but that pillar and this Tempered Fate, it's another one. It's 3 in a row that have messed with Taeyun.
And there is a flash from Karma. Flashes after getting hit by the binding, gets rooted up, dies anyway. It was a great early game from Vampire. The mid game has left a lot to be desired, where he's playing aggressively, knowing that they really don't have playmaking options, but instead it's ending up just flipping against them. Monkey and Vampire massively diffed Crisp and Tien in game 1. This game, they've been on the other end of that. The jungle support struggling in game 2.
And that's after a really good jungle support start for game. 10 minutes were fantastic, and then it's all begun to go very wrong. Tien might be in danger here, though. Between Worlds, can't quite get the kill. The redemption, the impale. He's still damn well alive. Flashes away. Subjugate rolling. They can't kill Trundle. Breathe now gets to go on foot. Another Tempered Fate. Doesn't land on the Taeyun for once, but afterwards they still get the kill onto the Aurora, who's dragged all out. And now Breathe is behind Taeyun. Tien gets him with a bonk or two, and another dragon goes the way of Weibo Gaming.
If you need an example of why Trundle is banned so much, just watch that clip in slow motion. The way he gets out of that is obscene. You should not be able to survive in a situation like that as a goddamn jungler. He's now 2,000 gold ahead, as is mid lane. I actually think Karis I think he's been okay. That's only his first game of death of the game, by the way. It's just that Victor has had so much more access to towers and resources. WE, they are, yeah, this one is unplayable from that, feels like. This is as good as it gets. They get decent CC, a full burst from the Aurora with the Electrocute. The ult does just miss, but then the ult, the Redemption, even misses as well. It's another point in their favor for WE. Tien walks out alive, and he's bought so many cooldowns at that point. What did WE have left in the tank? The answer is not much.
Karis frozen, which means Breeze just gets to go all out. Shao even gets it with the Arcane Storm kill, and the problem is Taeyun realizes because Breeze's been able to tunnel his way through that wall, there's nowhere for him to run.
He's cut off at the pass and left to die there. WE now down 4,000 gold. Atakan is on the other side. That's some invisible value. There's an extra dragon on the side of Weibo. That's invisible value. Same with the 3 grubs. That was pretty visible when you start hitting the turrets as well.
Yeah.
5-1-4 on a Trundle. Worth noting, by the way, going for the Spirit Visage, which gives him even more healing in the heat of the moment against the magic damage majority team of WE. Even Ezreal's doing a decent amount of magic damage there. Really, really hurts them. WE, they feel so strongly they need to cut through that magic resist. They've gone for double Bloodletter's Curse. They don't double stack. It is like the Black Cleaver, by the way. But someone's got to hit it first, and you've just got to pray that there'll be enough to make the matchups work out. Weibo cleanly pushing it across the map. They'll be angling towards an early Baron. You have to feel with the Trundle being able to tank it fairly well.
Okay, Taeyun maybe was in danger there for a second. Manages to dance away from most of that. The problem, as we noted, though, is Baron's up shortly, and Weibo do scale very well this game. That gold lead that was their bot lane was 1200 not so long ago. It's not there anymore. Breathe survives. They just don't have any damage. They need another item. They've got double Bloodletter's Curses. Maybe that'll be enough on the solo lens, but the curtain's getting called. Cosmic Binding goes one. Gravity Field lands on the Monkey. Gets a shield, though, from the Bastion. Tempered Fate lands on 2. Redemption comes on down. That's quite a lot of ults burn for no one dying on either side.
Yeah, I mean, you still have the Chaos Storm. You still have the Subjugates.
Ooh, hang on, Chris beats a fair amount of damage from those Electro Harpoons. Breeze gonna get driven into the wall, into the Impale, dragged under the turret. Between worlds they go, but he goes all out, but he loses all his resist to do so. They don't have damage. Another Cosmic Binding means that Taeyun can't auto.
And now WE don't have HP. They've used all of their ultimates. They have barely any summoners left. And Weibo, despite not getting any kills, do get what they came for in the inner turret. That'll give them even easier access towards Baron when they want to go towards that in the recent future. And WE, we said this before, it looked unplayable. Again, we're seeing situations which are about as good as they get for them. Not the best ultimates from Weibo, not the cleanest kills. WE still can't capitalize.
We might have gone to the library and bought a book, though. Look at Chaohu's inventory, even more move speed, more stacking. This is going to get really annoying.
I think that move speed is really key to talk about too. Medjai's beyond 10 stacks is so important for less mobile champions in the game. Victor has a ton of HP. He's quite hard to shut down. If he manages to put the grab field and the ult down, WE can't really stand there. Some punches the mic. It's our daily tradition. Don't worry, I've joined in too occasionally. Cube has a flash. He has an equalizer. I don't think either is going to make a great deal of difference. That is a dead Yordle robot.
How did he get there?
Try to push up a wave. Sometimes when you're behind in a game, you have to go for one of those pushes and say, look, I got to push up bot lane. Baron's up right now. It ends up backfiring. He's died for only his first death of the game, by the way. I don't want to hear people blaming Cube for this game in particular. I know that there are plenty of other games you'll get ammunition for. Don't you worry about that. But he dies in the side lane very easily. And Weibo, they don't even feel like they need to go towards the Baron. They're just walking towards the bot lane and turret.
Vampire, trying to get the root on down. He is going to flash, still gets stunned, dies. It's not getting easier. The Tempered Fate shuts off the turret. Monkey's now in danger. The Redemption behind the Deadly Flourish lands onto Taeyun. Monkey body blocks what he can. Shot comes on down, flash on forward, Pathmaker, and the whole of WE just explodes.
WE have been thoroughly mid-gamed by Weibo, who looked very out of sorts in game 1. WE handily dealt with them, and despite their good early game, despite their dominant game 1, WE will once again be going to 3 games. Try as they might, they can't close out these series cleanly.
Monkey's paw curls once more. You'll be able to beat any team just for 1 game. And now the Nexus begins to crumble. Weibo Gaming will take us the distance as WE cannot command the mid game in the way they needed to.
Game 2 required an early game advantage. They got that, and they...
Not necessarily the most thematically synchronized draft from Weibo Gaming, even a lot of the decisions make sense in isolation.
We'll hear those gyos, and we'll see the results of that coming up next.
欢迎来到英雄联盟。敌军还有30秒到达战场，碾碎他。
Well then, this gets interesting. Breede's going to change forms and skirt away from danger.
Not uncommon to see that in Jace versus Melee top lane matchups. Same thing would happen with Vayne or Quinn. They use brush control very strong at the start of the game. And what you can see teams do is stack up as 4, sometimes 5 members, go up towards top lane, and make sure they can get a ward in one of those brushes so Jace can't just dip out of minion aggro and use their range advantage by dipping in and out of brushes and getting auto attacks onto you. WE, they invest one of their wards early into that topside brush, allow Cube to stand in there. Stop Breathe getting the best possible laning scenario. This is known tech.
Good work there. Now you've had a chance to look at the drafts. What's your vibe?
Yeah, I think you're completely right saying that Weibo have some thematic desyncs. Like, not everyone wants to be playing disengaged. Not everyone wants to be playing going forwards. I think that Vi is very, very good into the likes of Jace. Kind of poor into the Xayah and the Braum, though. Shinzao have to play it pretty well to get away with this, because, you know, if you do get Renekton and Galio, that's all inside your ult damage, isn't it? So, I think that Weibo, they're going to have to play well individually to make the disconnect work out better. Particularly into that mid and late game. The lanes are fine for them. I think Annie's good into the Galio. I think that Xiaohu potentially could be a real kingmaker here, actually, because one of the problems with W is that if you overextend into a Braumel and the Tibbers then on top of it, you do get bursted. But W have plenty of options to get that first kill very easily. The Kai'Sa flying in, the Galio flying in. That is very hard to stop from Weibo on that first kill.
Again, then comes the question of, can you survive the turnaround with the feathers and stuns and Braum fishes and stuff? And it's thematically a little bit janky from Weibo Gaming. I can see where they ended up where they did with the kind of responses to pieces of WE's draft coming in.
That was nice there from Xiao, who actually used the Molten Shield to just outpace the taunt, got the Electrocute trade onto Karis. If you lose one big trade in lane as Galio, then you get the Galio which loses a ton of CS in early lane. And that's a bit of a problem, actually. You need to keep an eye on that. I think Weibo, solo laners, have been playing better than WE's on form recently. I think Xiaohu's been playing quite well, question mark.
He had a good Victor game at
Victor
the very
game
least.
was good. Obviously, his Orianna game was less good. I'm trying to think, because the perspective of Xiaohu, like being an international title winner, that's gone now. However, he's definitely not as poor as he was before. Monkey doesn't want to use the tap Q on Vi. Tap Q has really lost a lot of power, actually, recently. Another win becomes lightning misses from TM. Just denying Monkey the ability to go towards that blue buff easily, though. TM will start to heal off a little bit with his his passive.
I know that ward's in there. Monkey's around. Karis also around. But I don't know whether you win this skirmish early on with that stun up and available. Shall we
Karis go for a flash taunt.
There's the Incinerate. 3 talents right there. There's the flash taunt that goes nowhere. And the Audacious charge back in. The turnaround damage with the Winter War is good, but Jace coming as well. And that means that this blue buff is surely Tien's.
Really good flash from Tien. Xiao using the Molten Shield to shield up his teammate as well. Buff still complete. And 2v2 going pretty well for Weibo 2. Forcing a flash. That's not great.
That's 3 flashes down on WE in the blink of an eye. Vampire, Karis, Monkey down those. Vampires will all stand the heal. Will be able to pick up some new summoners at the 6-minute mark, but for a couple minutes at least, has got nothing to work with.
I'm getting quite worried for WE now. I know it's only a couple of minutes in, but if Monkey starts to fall behind, we know how important Monkey is to this team.
Yeah.
If he starts to fall behind, that's a big issue. Tien, if he starts to get ahead, that potentially covers some of his issues too. You know, he had a great game too, right on the Trundle. Wasn't an MVP, that was crisp on the Bard, and I think that was very deservedly so. For Weibo, they're getting ahead in solo lanes. Tien is stopping Monkey from interfering with that, and bot lane just got flashes too. WE might be in a situation where they're losing all 3 lanes actually if it goes worst case scenario. They need something to break the pressure quite soon.
Hot side, Vampire and Monkey pairing up. They have been finding success. Often has been through those two making
the playmaker duo.
Yeah.
Potential. Ooh. Good CC combo potentially.
Yeah, it's got the stun ready and waiting, so we'll just hold that and say, look, Molten Shield's enough to keep me in one piece.
The one piece is real, as we know, of course.
Yeah. It's the name of the treasure on the Grand Midline.
Yeah, exactly. Xiao has teleport. He'll be able to go back with that in mind. Lost 1 minion under turret there. Vampire, of course, showed himself too. This information to Weibo. CS lead for Breathe, somewhat expected for the Jace over the Renekton. Once Monkey hits level 6, that's where you start to cash in some of the early game debt that you accrue with these kind of lanes. Really need to see whether Monkey can punish someone like that Jace even when he's ahead of the game, because the Vi is typically very, very good against that champion.
That's a very fair way to look at it. Taeyu and Vampire. Here and there and potentially everywhere.
What the hell does that mean?
I don't know.
I think you're just saying, Sam, I think you're saying words.
I was just saying words, Alex.
I can't believe you are saying words.
I'm sorry.
On my stream, on my PC, you come here and you speak words. Dragon started by
Look, it was a reference to the fact that Taeyun is playing a semi-global championship, so could theoretically be in a number of locations quite quickly.
Vi's gonna just spot out, gonna go towards those Raptors. Dragon will be taken by Tien.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did I get away with it?
Sam, I'm not going to lie. I completely dissociated for just one brief second. Monkey will use the Dragon going down as an ability to take the Raptors. If you can take Krog's respawn as well, actually pretty happy. They drop down a ward.
Tien will spot that this is now gone. We'll know that topside jungle is not his own. There is a level 6 from Karis, which makes these things a bit spooky. They'll push in mid lane instead. Krug's respawn will come up, and well, no, that's not true, actually. Vi's not tracked them effectively. So it's just going to be the one camp steal away. Important that Monkey does get something back for himself. There's a chance he'll play topside.
Yeah.
Monkey is not one camp off of 6. He's a little further than that, actually. Cube could still go for a flash W, though, and go for a dive hit.
Yeah, I say there's Dominus here. I think this could just be the kill. TP now coming. Breathe. No support coming. He's all by his lonesome. We'll try and clear out the wave. Does do a fairly decent job of knocking the wave away. Flashes out. Stays alive.
That's pretty damn good from Breathe. Getting, you know, the support teleport out of the spell book, getting the ult out of Cube. Yeah, Breathe can't stick around, probably. I guess with Karis not showing a mid-wave, he's a little afraid of the ult there. Crisp is now going towards topside. Breathe will now be able to pick up that wave. And WE, we're saying, hey, you need to really get some value back on these lanes. This could be a problem. Where's Crisp? He's a little late.
Oh, Breathe is definitely low. Damage being tanked by Vampire. Oh, my days. He takes an extra shot just to secure the kill. Flash out on a 1-for-1. That's not pretty.
Crisp is now here to hold the wave. It's a kill. It's to the Vi, who it's important to get some there. And he can, hang on, if they can stop the recall, yeah, Xiao could flash over and potentially get a kill on Monkey.
I think he's going to live. He's got Molten Shield. He can tank this up. There's the speed up. Flash available. Monkey's blown so much damage. Doesn't even need to blow a flash. Xiao just gets the kill. In comes Galio. Maybe that's the turnaround. Flash out of the hero's entrance. Xiao's taking torrent shots. Doesn't quite get the kill. Now the turnaround can potentially come on forward. Crisp flashes for the present. Merry Christmas.
2 for 2 in the top side, question mark. Kill goes over to Karis, but what's happening with the waves getting picked up now? No one in mid lane just yet, so that's going to be a wave lost there. Crisp managed to hold the wave top side, so someone's going to be getting that. And Jace is picking up the bot lane wave. One of the big things we've noticed about Weibo versus WE is that WE have a lot of flash in the early game, but they do lose waves on side lane. Weibo, while they are often falling to those flashy plays, which is, of course, I'm not saying they're bad, they are picking up more waves. And now we can see, you know, there's a 15 CS lead for Breathe. Yes, mid lane for Xiao, who dropped a little bit there, but Weibo aren't unhappy with the amount of farm they picked up.
They're really not. Now we come back to live. Xiao's got another stun available. Remember, still quite a lot of those big ultimates down. No hero's entrance means that Karis could theoretically be in a lot of danger. Passive comes on down potentially. Flash out all. Vampire is a staked man. Taeyu needs to be very well. By the way, the backside of the Tien. Nice turnaround as they were trying to run onto the Kai'Sa, who found a great killer instinct back to the play.
Crisp still up, his level 6, of course, a little bit higher XP than Vampire was. Puts up the shield again. Karis going forwards once more.
Brawn passive comes on down. Doesn't have that much CC to work with. Another passive comes on down. Featherstorm. Dead Galio. Monkey now being run out. Gets rooted up by said Feathers. Flash Q. Should be able to get him out to safety, and they can't get the kill on the Vi.
WE are not winning these early game fights. Vampire's back out onto the map, but doesn't have the level 6. He lost a lot of XP teleporting topside. Again, think about what we were saying before. WE, a lot of flash, but they are dropping waves to do so. Right there, the consequence is Vampire is lower XP than Crisp, and the level 6 Braum does make a lot of difference here with the Realm not having ult available. It's not the cleanest fight from Weibo, but they do have a little bit more go buttons with that. 3 Talon Strike ends up getting the knockup. Vampire does go in, but the double ults, including that Braum ult, slow him down, damage him up, and the Rel can't get out. Weibo getting a little bit more access to that fight. Yes, there's a great turnaround, and there's a good one there too. But WE then also to overstay themselves. It's not like it's the cleanest fight from them either.
No, it's not, and they do get that additional kill then onto Karis. Monkey's forced to flash after, especially as gets a good route here as the double daggers and the autos come on through. We'll say in the picture-in-picture, at the very least, WE did pick up at least 2 of the grubs, so they've got that marker towards feats of strength. So they do come away with something. Unfortunately, it's not the gold lead they were hoping for.
Yeah, it is worth noting that, you know, Light picked up 2 of those kills. Taeyeon did another. They are vaguely even in terms of gold. There's a cull on each of them as well. Both AD carries going to be quite fed. I think I actually... Well, okay, it's fairly even value. I'd normally like to say conclusively, oh, it's better for this one side. Let's be honest, both AD carries have great agency in this game.
Yeah.
There's quad melee on one side for Xayah to play into. On the other side, there's a lot of squishies for the Kai'Sa to dive onto. I think both of them will get value with that
Lots
gold.
of bodies to dive with, yeah.
And lots of dive buddies as well, absolutely. The gold being 1,000 to Weibo in the early game is a bit of an issue for WE. They are losing out little bits here and there, slight bit in mid lane, decent bit in top lane now with Breathe being a good carry top player on the Jace. As long as he can as long as he can avoid getting CC chained by the Vi flashing ulting onto him.
He becomes the X Factor threat, doesn't he?
He becomes the huge cleanup threat. Kai'Sa's actually quite bad into Jace because of that at some points, where if Jace isn't the primary target, Jace actually kills the Kai'Sa when she tries to dive. Watch out for that later on.
Goes to the skies and smacks it down. Good knock up there on Tane. Turn around now with the cease and desist, but unfortunately, there's an ult and a double knock up. Monkey is a very squished primate. Tane's going to cleanse, but unfortunately Tane can go forward flash to get towards the blast gun, but that means that this Kaiser is not. He's going to try and recall, but Xiao's looking to stop them. Breathe in the river, looking to get some more kills. Can Xiao find the stun? Gets the kill! No, he missed!
He missed the go. And it still didn't matter. 2 for none for Weibo as WE, they're getting panicked. They're getting so panicked, and God, it's happening again. The 1-7 WE, which looks so much better than their series score, may well be losing another series where they were so dominant in one game, but not able to close things out. This time, it's like getting another kill again, 3-0-1. His Zaya's been really good in this early game so far. WE are losing more waves across the board because they committed so hard to that play, and Weibo have been able to fan out onto all 3 lanes again, and now that gold lead is starting to get out of control.
It really is. Maybe you could look at Breathe, but Breathe is just bullying Cube at this point, up the level, up the HP bar. Rel is around, but I don't know how easy it would be to get value down here, and I hesitate to do this, but look at Monkey versus T, and that is basically 50% extra farm right now towards this Shinzao, who's well ahead of Kerr.
Especially when we're talking about the early games in the series, you know, game 1, early game 2 with Monkey on the Skarner getting a really good cross-map setup. We were saying, look, Tien's really disappointing us. We think he's getting out jungled. That's not the case here. He's playing a lot better in game 3. If we are going to criticize Tien, it is only right that we praise him as well. I think that his back end of game 2 and then this one in game 3 has been much better than Monkey, who we were praising as top 4, potentially top 3. Tien is doing very well now in this matchup, and again, staking his claim, saying, look, you know, I'm still regional Tien, by the way.
Here comes the Braum passive. Damage goes down to Vampire, who's forced to flash away at Crisp. Using that heal on Braum. Braum is one of the better abusers of Spellbook because anything that gives him move speed gives him range for his passive.
Yeah, and honestly, he doesn't need something like Aftershock because he can't proc it that easily. The Guardian's fine for him. But Spellbook is a godsend to Braum because, let's be honest, he doesn't really need a lot of other keystones. It gives him a ton of value. I think you're absolutely right. I don't think I'd actually clock that in the current meta. That's worth really thinking about. That really changed the way that I view the Braum. He's very good at that Spellbook, and if it's the strongest rune, he'll definitely get value from that.
Yeah, because obviously you got a lot of time before we'd see things like the Guardian in particular, which is great for keeping people alive, but individual reminder, he gets all of his resist from his door going up.
Monkey's down on the bot side, has flash ult. There is potentially a Galio ult to be thrown top. He needs to teleport, so I guess not. So that's going to be another play. Weibo bring in their jungle support to survive it. And this is another problem with WE. They're not fantastic at making plays on side lanes. You can see that Weibo, they get, you know, protection to breathe. Xiao, who might be under threat here, has the Molten Shield, will proc it.
And we'll then stack up his passive using that Disintegrate. We'll have an Incinerate, turn that around well enough. It's down a bit of CS there. Dropped a wave or two to make some of these plays, it must be said.
And also, he's dropping some of those waves in the favor of Breathe picking them up and Breathe getting the jungle support around him. When you look at that play there, right, you know realistically Jace is the target for WE if they can help it, especially when he's getting this far ahead. Jace needs those supporting pieces around him. Xiao, who on Weibo, in general, regardless of matchup, is typically not someone that gets resources in a side lane, and Breathe is the one that does on the side of Weibo. You send the jungle support to the Jace's lane, but not towards Xiao, who, and you can see the value that it's getting here. We've got Grubs, not Grubs, the other one, Harold's the big brother, sister, I guess. Shala spawning in the next 10 seconds, and Weibo will be setting up some things for that. I don't think they feel forced to take it. They don't want to die for it, but they'll happily set up for it if at all possible. Of course, the first tower hasn't been taken yet. I don't think they'd mind getting that, of course. That would give them the feats of strength as well as the objective. They have options available.
Why, never heading into the river with Weibo gave him for a Herald fight.
Why did that go?
Sea mine. It's a sea mine in there.
Vampire's going to try and do one of those flanking wards. Not able to get that much value. This feels like the hammer blow moment for WE. This is where you make or break the game. They're starting the Herald. They do have their ults available. They have first item available for everyone, including Renekton, who's gone back and completed that just now. Can they make a fight happen now? I think that Weibo might not even give them the chance to do that, though. Credit to them, trading where they should be. Take that first turret, get that gold for the Jace, get the feats of strength. If the Herald goes down on the other side, so be it. Doesn't even get started in this case. He'll get it easily. And WE don't even get a cross map. That's looking a bit slow from them.
They're with the double globals. They've got Galio and Kai'Sa. I know it's only the level 10 Kai'Sa's got the second rank of the ultimate yet, but still, the fact that you get nothing, make no plays. WE, it's another mid game where they're kind of letting things slide a bit here. It's a comp that should be comfort for them.
And one of the most common... there is a ward on here. They will be spotted. I mean, there is a chance that something happens now. Vi coming in from the bot side. Is he spotted on mid? No. There's a ward in here. Karras could potentially go for a flash taunts. Here comes the Renekton. So, Weibo, you might have that fight on your hands.
Oh, baby. Vampire stunned up. Cleanse. Backside. Monkey. Cease and desist. That's
But Galliwall's cancelled!
But Galliwall is cancelled! Oh, the hero's entering nowhere! But an L in the score sheet. Taeyun gets hit with the to the skies. And the Mercury Hammer breaks the skull of Taeyun's Kai'Sa.
This Annie isn't playing with superheroes, she's playing with teddy bears. Who needs any of that Power Rangers nonsense? The hero's entrance cancelled by the big fuzzy bear. Xiaohu making a game-changing play around the Herald.
Oh, it looked like a wonderful flank angle. It really did.
Just watch this again. The fact that this gets cancelled in the way that it does. Xayah gets Via ulted without ulting itself. That should be the go button. Gets shown briefly on vision and it's not even that. It's Breathe.
blast cone!
Cone! He stands on the blast cone! I was
God!
Okay, you know what? That's on me. I was like, oh, it's got to be the Anti-Tibbers. It's the only cancel they have available. Breathe, hats off to you. I'm so sorry for attributing your awesome play up to Xiaohu. Also a great fight from him too. But Breathe, game-changing play.
Team WE is blasting off again!
Oh my god, Vampire does have Flash. Potentially could go for something, but they don't have the Kai'Sa ult to follow up. Breathe, what a game he's had. 2k up now.
Don't think Tien cares about this. Oh my god, the damage onto Monkey. Tien's still got an ult to work with. Vampire has to flash out. Teleport behind Xiaohu with the flash. And the stun available. Take some disintegrations. Chris puts up the door. WE now going to have to fight their way out of this. Tien flashing away to safety. Breathe now in danger. Trying to turn onto him. But the rest of Weibo are here to fight. In comes the redemption. They have at least got a few back. But unfortunately, I say a few. I just mean Tien. The rest of them eat more fire. A taunt across many with the shield of Duran, but it breaks under the full force of Weibo Gaming.
WE go towards Breathe, and WE become WE's. They just cough out their last breath there, as they can't finish off the kills. They're getting desperate, and they are now 7,000 gold behind. The Herald was summoned mid-fight from Lights as a capitalization on what was likely a good corral from them. They'll kill off, was it all 5 members? For one, Tien just dying there? Weibo stomping home in the mid game, and WE down against Soul Point 3 Dragons. This felt so unnecessary. They didn't have the Kai'Sa ult. They didn't have the great angle. And Chris manages to hold an incredible angle here. Just been like, okay, well, I've got door cooldown. Vampire doesn't have Flash, doesn't have Magnet Storm. He's not a threat. Puts up the door again, uses the heal. Lights in here. Breathe manages to get some decent damage down. Yeah, Taeyun gets the last with the lethal tempo off, but he's only one Kai'Sa without ult. He can't do anything here. Terrible decision making to go for this fight from WE. It's so desperate.
And after this, they get on top of Karis. It's actually a flash from Light to get in front of the Justice Punch as a Xayah, by the way.
If Xayah can do that, your game is over. There's a 10-stack Dark Seal on Xiaohu. Light is flashing forwards to cancel frickin' Galio E's. That is game over at this point. And poor WE, a team that finished top 4 for the first time since 2021. Sorry, 2022 rather.
Yeah.
In last split, felling top easels, felling JDG, have hit rock bottom now. They are 1-7, and despite getting good games, it doesn't matter if you can't seize the victories and actually get some series on the board. They are getting dumpstered in the full 3 games, sadly for them. And Weibo, they have been the better team. Yes, game 1 was a stomp, but they stomped back in game 2, and this one's arguably being even more dominant.
First turret of the game at least goes towards WE. They get that one on the board for them. Sorry, first turret for them, of course. Weibo Gaming significantly further along the line on that one. They've got 4 structures already. Atakan now being started by Weibo Gaming will be no response, and much like we criticised Tien and then had to give plaudits where they were due, I think the same probably has to be done for Crisp here. Wonderful angle in that place.
Yes.
Very good brawn play. And honestly, the Bard last game, the mid-game Tempered Faith, the Cosmic Bindings, really on point. He's always been a bit of a mercurial player, but on his champions, on his game, you can see why this guy once upon a time won World Championship.
Yeah, it's been a while since we could talk about stuff like his Blitzcrank and his Thrash. There is going to be an inner turret for inner turret trade. There is also an objective bounty on top of that too, but there's an extra inner turret for Weibo, so they are still trading up. WE, they get an objective bounty. It's about as good as they can get from that scenario. It's not really good enough. They'll head back towards the river defensively, not overstay. Weibo grouping up, making sure that W can't pick them off with the likes of Vi, Kai'Sa flying in, and Vampire's caught, staked. And the sunlight goes down for his 4th death of the game.
It's just not hard anymore. It's a 3k gold lead for the Jace. It's a 2k gold lead for the Xayah.
WE get a lot of praise for their jungle support, and they absolutely should do for their wins. However, this is the backswing of it. When things start to go wrong, Monkey and Vampire still trying to look for their creativity. And in some ways, I can't blame them. But it does sometimes double down. Monkey looking for that flash. Where's the Kai'Sa?
Breathe, now potentially in danger. The moment we say
Oh,
maybe
Chris.
that's what they need, but Breathe can't quite survive. Chris did all the work he could, but now the TP's coming on through there to burn a lot to get a hold of the Jace. Turnaround's coming on through. Chris survives, gets to throw out another present. They are going to turn it around as actually Shao goes on down. All the while Light, though, is free firing. There are feathers everywhere. It's a bloody bird's nest. Karis now needs to back away. It's 3 for 2 currently. Better than perhaps WE had a right to expect, but all the same, Weibo Gaming take the death of their top laner a little aggressively. Vampire... Is he spotted? No, he's not.
He might just be able to walk his way out. He does have flash. He does have a crash down. Hang on a second. There's a teleport onto Karis instead. Vampire, has he got any way out of this? There's some alcohol gaming. I don't think...
He's out.
I think he's out just because Weibo don't want to check all of the angles. Vampire will escape. That's about as good as it gets. And we were saying, look, this double-edged sword of Monkey and Vampire, you look for them for creative plays, but sometimes it doubles down. That was a better play from them, though. They get something. Even then, though, so far behind, it is still going to be sold to the side of Weibo. It's Chemtech. It's a bit of a problematic one for WE, actually, because trying to kill off these targets you're already struggling to with an extra 10% damage when they get down there, an extra 10% damage reduction as well could be so important. Look how close this got. The only thing I'll say is I think the redemption should have been earlier from Chris. If that came through, I think he actually lives. I think this redemption is too late from Chris. That's the one misplay. Gets there in time for the shield. Should have pressed his damn redemption button.
And then Chris just about survives. We come back to live, and that is a dead Karis. Imagine this game state if they're having wards like that to spot out Breathe from a lot further away. He was trying to be as safe as he could. He was using max range shock blast to scout. Still got caught.
Reminder, folks, Baron is not available. W will try and cross map. I mean, they're gonna. They have one grub, whatever, not even the 3. But they have a Jace which will destroy. This inhibitor will go down. Yes, a mid lane outer turret will be taken.
Keep going.
Hang on a second.
They
mid lane outer turret is not a worthwhile trade for the frickin' Nexus.
Nexus turret number 1 goes down. WE gonna have to burn the Dominus by some time, but that's a very dead looking Renekton to me. Pair of handbags, perhaps. Not sure how much skin there is with the Dominus rolling, but all the while, Nani is using her Tibbers to tank up the next start number 2. It's gone as well. They don't need a Baron. They don't need anything but violence. In comes the hero's entrance, but up into the sky goes Light, trying to get on top of him. Light does go down as Taeyun flies into the backside. He's traded out. They'll lose the Vi as well. Knock up onto Karis, and the statue is fractured. Weibo Gaming dismantled WE in game 3.
A heartbreaking 3-game series again for WE, who are left at